You're about to try to take it from me? Get lost. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So I made sure that the last bit was all live
Oh
while you
my
were throwing your
God.
temper tantrum.
Oh my god.
So
Toxic.
y'all got to watch C throw a temper tantrum because they usually count us in from the waiting room screen, but I did it this time. Anyway, hello everybody. It is so good to see all of your digital non-existent faces in the chat. Welcome to Arc 3, Episode 6 of Transplanar RPG. My name is Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she, and I am the GM and executive producer behind Transplanar RPG. Which is our all transgender, people color-led, 100% homebrew, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition live-streamed actual play campaign set in an original non-colonial anti-orientalist world. You can find me on Twitter, on Itch, and on Patreon at @byConnieChong. I am also a professional GM with Magpie Games' curated play program, but as always, all my games are sold out, I think, for the month. As a reminder, we stream our D&D campaign Saturdays at 3 p.m. U.S. Central Time on Twitch. This time we started an hour late because C had a professional dance performance to get to. We're very proud of them for that. And speaking of which, let's just go around and introduce ourselves very quickly. I'm going to pass things along to Devin.
Hello everyone, my name's Devin. I use they them pronouns. You can find me right here on Transplanar RPG every Saturday at 3 p.m. CST. CDT? CST, I don't know.
CST.
I'm a professional CST? Thank you,
It's not
Max.
daylight savings.
Is that what? Never mind. I'll research that later. I'm a professional musician, ethnomusicologist, and translator of Japanese to English to Japanese. And also the artistic director of Shout, Minnesota, Minnesota's trans and gender diverse voices and all trans Twin Cities-based choir. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Shout Minnesota. That's undercase? No.
Underscore.
Lowercase. Fuck.
Lowercase.
Under lowercase SH, uppercase OUT, and then Minnesota, how you would normally spell it. Other than that, you should join our Discord channel. We have a bunch of wonderful, wonderful things. And as Darfeld so graciously enlightened me to, we also have like blackjack and shit you could do, I guess. So if you want to come play blackjack with a bot or like catch fish or something, I guess that's a thing you can do too. But we also have a counting channel. We're trying to get back to 420 again, and then we're gonna try to get to 2319. It's gonna be very exciting. So jump on in, try to count. If you're too gay to count, that's okay. We're all here to learn. And with that, I'll pass introductions on to Elika.
Hello, everybody. I'm Erica. She, her pronouns. I play Vinox Scherzo, that lovable elf sorceress who, if you're missing your wallet, she's probably got it. And you can also find me here at the Twitch at Erica Newgirl. I do things and say things that I will regret instantly, or at least later when I see the clips of it, and then proudly post it to TikTok until TikTok takes it down for violating their community guidelines. But yeah, find me Erica Newgirl anywhere which way possible. I am switching up my schedule on Twitch. It'll be 2:30 Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, Mondays. So it's a little more consistent. Please come find me. Please help me embarrass myself. I can only embarrass myself if other people are present to laugh at me and point. And with that, I pass to Max.
Hello, I'm Max. I go by they them pronouns. I play Bird Boy Dewey Kirk, who's going to have a great time in this carnival. You can find me doing I do some sewing. I make like pride flags, among other things. You can find me on Etsy and Instagram at Stitchmonger, and also my personal Instagram, where I post like once every 6 months at Starchmonger. A pass to C.
Hey y'all, my name is C. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a dancer for real. I got my first museum credit this week. Digital artist, tabletop streamer. You can find me streaming on Tuesdays and Fridays and sometimes other times, I don't know, at pi_sharp. You can also find me on Twitter at pi_sharp_art, and I am doing a art giveaway for Pride Month that ends today. So go check out my pinned post on PieSharp Art, retweet it, follow me, and you can be entered into a raffle to win a full color piece of a couple between 1 and 3 characters, because we love our ace characters and we love our poly couples. Full color for that. And second prize is your character here with their pride flag draped over them. And if we get to 500 followers, by tonight, and we're only 25 away, so I don't know, it could happen. I'm going to be putting a third prize in there. So go ahead, retweet that if you like. If you like free gay art, check me out. I appreciate it. With that, I'll pass it back to Connie.
Actually, I'm going to pass it back to you. See, you should look at the script. We're going to be talking about our anniversary events.
Oh, surprise. I'm going to just be talking forever. Hey, did y'all know that Transplanar RPG's 1 year anniversary is coming up in 2 weeks? 2 weeks on Sunday, June 27th. Woo! We're going to be 1 year old. Happy gay birthday, everyone. To celebrate, we've got 4 fun tabletop events planned for the last weekend in June. So this is some exciting stuff. Take some notes, put it in your Google Calendar. On Friday, June 25th, we are streaming a Quest RPG charity one-shot set in Andake for Gen Con TV's official Twitch channel. So yes, we're going to be on playing in different characters in Andake, a one-shot quest. Come watch it. We're going to be raising money for the Black Trans Advocacy Coalition, so make sure you tune in from 6 to 9 p.m. Haha, get it? CDT. On Saturday, June 26th, we'll be streaming Arc 3, Episode 8, which is the middle of this arc, Episode 8 of our main campaign, right here, as per usual, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Going to be the midpoint of Arc 3. Something big is guaranteed to happen. Then on Sunday, June 27th, our official anniversary, we are launching our Patreon. Hey, with tiers as low as $3 a month, you can get exclusive updates, our character sheets, high-res art assets, and voting power over what happens in our campaign. My. We're hosting a launch party at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time in our Discord server for new patrons and all Twitch subs. So make sure you pledge and stop by. We would appreciate it so very much. And then finally, yes, there are 4 days of this. On Monday, June 28th, we are doing our debut Transplanar RPG podcast episodes. We are releasing Arc 1, Episode 1 on Spotify, Apple Music, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts. Podcast episodes will release every other Tuesday chronologically from Arc 1 onward. So we can flash back before you flash forward. Patrons will get early access to all podcast episodes, so another reason you should pledge on Sunday. And that's all, folks. So if you can't remember a damn thing that I just said, you can use the ! anniversary in chat at any time to pull up the schedule. And I'll just fucking pass it to Erica because I've been talking for 8,000 years. I need a drink of water.
And while you drink that water, I'm going to thank all those people who subbed, gift subbed, cheered, and rated during Arc 3, Episode 5. Scruffuses, Pie Sharp, Yikes, It's Tristan, Erica Newgirl, Moonflower T, Crude Imposter, Nightbright, Purple Mouse TK, Unruly Cats, Key Squared, LXKBW, and Neil Soul God. Moving on to this episode, we have a 25 sub goal. 5 sub nets us a point of collective inspiration. 15 subs gets us that auto crit on the board that anyone can use, including, as we saw last week, the GM. And 25 subs unlocks the ultimate prize. One of us has to monologue in character about the situation at hand, no matter where or when it happens. We have an unredeemed monologue for Mania from hitting our goal last session, but if we hit that goal again this session, we'll restart the cycle with a random monologue. And now, speaking of last
Please don't make me do it twice, please. For the love of all the 8 gods in Andake.
Please make them do it twice in one episode. Okay, Max, can you refresh us on all the excitement that happened last week?
I would love to. If you can't remember everything that happened in this campaign, you can always use the exclamation point recap command in chat, or go to bit.ly/transrecap to get to our recap document. And it's got summaries for everything. If you don't want to read it right now, also because it's not up yet, here's what happened. The championship challenge has been announced. The party meets back up and heads to the Klathau Jungle to set up camp with Dewey's friend Tonga and her terrifying yet promising protege Xiaohu. They're all set up close to the legendary competitor Kane's camp. The Bonebreakers are also excited to see them competing. Oka and V try to sneak into Kane's camp by, you guessed it, deception and distraction. They're just about to get thrown out by the bodyguards when another of the famous competitors, Jing, saunters up and they engage Kane in a showy fight. Everyone is stunned into silence when Kane one-shots them. Happy championship! Devin, tell us about what's happening this episode.
Oh yeah, Well, I can't tell you anything about what's happening this episode because it's all improv, but what I can tell you is that every single one of our episodes has a title, and the titles are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. They are taken from poems or songs written by queer, trans, and or people of color. And so the title of this episode, Lost in a Valley of Rot, is from Again, Let Me Explain Again, which is from Not Here by Gwendolyn Brooks. The full verse reads as follows. The children, there are thousands now, in order not to take turns dropping a single grain of sand onto my bed. They do this for hours, days, lost in a valley of rot.
Thank you, Devin. A quick correction. My bad. It's not Gwendolyn Brooks who wrote this poem. It's Hugh Min Nguyen. But that was my bad. I forgot to swap out. Gwendolyn Brooks wrote the poem for last session. Hugh Min Nguyen. Great. And with that out of the way, let's move on to the session itself. Some content warnings for our campaign. This arc specifically, and this session may include disreality, ultra-violence, gore, body horror, time slippage, hallucinations and illusions, human sacrifice, natural disasters, alcohol and substance use, addiction, death of loved ones, memory loss, emotional trauma and baggage, self-destructive behavior, bloodletting, cults and cult-like behavior, and anxiety and panic attacks described in detail. So, yes, Devin.
Yeah, this is going to be a very emotionally charged episode, so please take care of yourself. Please leave if you have to, stay if you can. If you'd like a content warning-free recap of this episode, that'll be available later, before the next episode, probably, hopefully. But please take care of yourselves, especially for this episode.
Yes, the next few episodes might be pretty intense depending on how things go today when we're hopefully going to be entering the carnival. So as a reminder, you can use !CW in the chat at any time to bring up a list of these content warnings. And like Devin said, please take care of yourself in the way you have to. With that out of the way, let's move right in. You are having a good day. Alcohol, music, monsters, dancing, a mani-pedi, pretty boys, your favorite heels, grapes, a chaise lounge, cologne, servants, attention. Distinct components blending together to create an unforgettable start to your inevitable victory. But then, that preening, corpse-skinned asshole rang. Jing. They'd been trailing after you like shit on a goldfish for months now, feeding off the shadow of your accomplishments. The monster den you found, they cleared out. The gambling ring you extorted, they bought out its rival. The thieves' guild you sold weapons to, they fenced for. Jing, jing, jing. Even their name was a ripoff. One syllable, chosen from a sacred book, earned through combat. They were exactly like you, but worse. They even had a signature mount, but everyone knows ostriches are dumb. So when that preening, corpse-skinned asshole rang, you smiled. You got off your chaise lounge, popped a grape in your mouth, dismissed your servants, sprayed on cologne, touched a pretty boy, left your tent, and basked in the attention of your fans. Honestly, you couldn't have asked for better circumstances. A duel to the death, a hated annoyance, an eager audience. The fight was disappointing. They didn't last nearly as long as you wanted them to. You thought about toying with them, really, you did. It would have been funner for everyone involved. Them, the audience, certainly yourself. And you were nothing if not a superb performer. But your mani-pedi was drying, and you didn't want to get grit on the coat. So you snapped Jing's neck, and the audience loved it. And now, as Kane poses in front of their tent, arms splayed, robes draped lazily across their lithe form, we pan to our heroes in the audience. V, Dewey, and Oka, who is currently standing behind Kane and invisible. Jing lies dead at the blue-skinned tiefling's feet. Their retinue, a gang of ostrich-riding bandits, looks absolutely shocked. As the crowd cheers and cheers and cheers for Kane, who waves their hands, egging them on, what do the three of you do?
All right. I've been thinking about this for a week, and I'm ready. I think Oka is somewhere. I imagine there's kind of like a circle around, and they're halfway in it and halfway out. I think they were heading toward where V was, and then stopped to watch this shit show go down. And they see everything, and there are a few like it's like calculations going in their mind, and then. Unlike, I think, the way that invisibility normally dispels, starting from Oka's like outstretched fingertips, they seem to reappear with like shadow just like lifting off of their skin back into reality. As I would like to use one of my blood, what the hell is it even called? My blood maledict. Yes. I'd like to use my blood maledict to cast Curse of the Fallen Puppet to connect my blood with Jing's as it starts to pour out of my nose and use his body to attack Kane very briefly. And I would like to amplify the effect, which means that I can move Jing up to half of his movement and add my intelligence modifier to my attack roll.
Great. Just to correct, Jing uses they, them, or used they, them pronouns.
Got it. Thank you.
Awesome. So does that require a roll? How does that work?
I am about to make an attack roll.
Go for it. Make the roll and then describe what happens.
A 22. Does a 22 hit Kane?
22 just hits. So why don't you roll damage?
Excellent. I guess it is with I think as Jing's body like falls and is still, all of a sudden like their arm twitches and then grasps that like circular blade you were talking about and just slices outward, kind of like on at the thigh. And it would be with Jing's weapon, so I don't know how much damage that would deal. I'm not exactly about the damage. There's also something else that I'm going to do with a bonus action real quick.
Okay, so roll 4d6 for Jing's damage.
A dead person does more damage than I do?
Oh, Dewey.
But how much does your
14
sword?
points of damage!
Okay, 14 points of slashing. All right. So what does it look like as Jing's corpse suddenly lurches back to life and lashes out with a chakram?
It's like Oka comes in, like it, like the shadow just like peels off of them, like up in layers, and it doesn't really make sense until Jing like pretty much like takes their exact position, like slices once and then falls again against Kane's leg. And as that happens, Oka, with their bloody nose, I would like to use my brand of castigation on Kane, which means that my arcane seal will kind of seep into that wound, which means when I damage a creature with a Crimson Right feature, I can choose to sear an arcane brand into them. It requires no action, and I will always know the direction of the target when the target takes damage. Et cetera, et cetera. And it lasts until I dismiss it. So that all happens in just like one silent moment.
What does the brand of castigation look like?
It's the same, but it's interior. It is the antler with a dragon wrapped around it, like in a circle.
Is it obvious? Is that that's what I mean? Like when Jing slashes Kane, does it appear on Kane's leg?
I was gonna say no, but I think that's funner. So yes, it does. Like drawn on with blood almost, but you can't wipe it away.
How long does it last, and does Kane know they've been branded?
It lasts until I dismiss it. And I think that's up to you.
Okay. Are you trying to conceal the fact that you've branded Kane?
Not necessarily. I think it's all happening too fast. There are already like so many things that Oka is thinking about, and that was the first one, and they haven't thought farther than this.
Okay. Jing's body lurches forward. The chakram goes flying. And I think because Kane was distracted, very confident that they had just straight up killed Jing, so was not expecting their body to attack them again. Their eyes flash to the side as soon as there's movement, and they twist, they turn, they spin in a single fluid, graceful motion, but it's just a split second too late. As Jing rakes the serrated edge of the chakram against, let's say, Kane's thigh, there is a line of red flung through the air, and blood splotches against the ground like a paintbrush being flicked. And Kane lands gracefully a few feet away as Jing's body just... right, like lurches forward, and the crowd gasps, right? And Kane tilts their head to the side in confused interest. And your invisibility sloughs off your body like shadow, Oka, and you're standing there with your arm outstretched in the exact same position as Jing's body. And Kane goes, my, now what is this?
I think, like, quick as they can, Oka, like, lowers their hand, but I don't think it's quite fast enough. And they take, like, 2 steps back, and they don't say much.
Kane reaches down to their bleeding leg, and when their fingers come away, they're streaked with red. And they lick the blood off of each finger carefully. As you can see your brand of castigation, like, burned against their thigh, they glance down and they say, now what did you do to me, you little insect?
Till next time. And Oka fucks off as fast as I can, like right into the crowd. I'm fucking off. I am gone. Like right towards V, like grab V, turn her around, and like into the crowd we go.
V, Dewey, Oka turns to like flee. What do the 2 of you do to help them? Before you respond, Oka, please mark inspiration too. That was an amazing attempt.
I think as V's being like sees what's happening, sees it's an Oka running towards her, V just reaches up and shoots off another fireball spell up in the air like a fireworks style like last time, but like blinding and like trying to like distract, and we'll even use some minor illusion to like make it like turn into some type of nefarious creature of fire flying through the air maybe. Okay,
V, why don't you roll performance to see how well your distraction works?
I'm going to use my last personal inspiration.
So, Jesus Christ. Okay, sounds good.
Okay, that was better. That was performance. How good is my performance again? I know what my deception is offhand, but so that is 15.
Okay. 15 will fool the crowd, but it will not fool Kane. Dewey, would you like to jump in to try to help? No, Max just shook your head.
Dewey see he's like poking out of his head out of the tent, and when he sees Oka and V like coming towards the tent, he like closes it and puts his back against them. Because Kane is coming after them, and he does not want to be there for that.
That's true. You do have a history with Kane of a sort. Okay, so are we going to take that 15? Oka, is there anything you'd like to do to try to boost your escape as fireworks and illusions start sprouting out of V?
I mean, there are a ton of people in the crowd you described. I'm trying to like blend in with them. This is the only time that I feel good about being 5'9", 5'8", damn. Just trying to like get low, bob and weave. And instead of making a beeline right for our tent, Oka's gonna like take a journey, one could say, like through the other tents, weaving, bobbing, and then making like a big circle back. And they're like, fuck. Like kind of just like holding onto like V's back and like moving them both along.
Okay, what is the bonus you get to acrobatics?
Plus 7.
Okay, 15 plus 7 is a 22. So let's say that is successful to evade Kane. So Oka, you run past Kane and they go, hold on now. And they move forward, but then pew, 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 fireworks shoot out of V. The crowd goes, what? Ah! they're distracted from the moving corpse that now poof falls back to the ground as you run away from it, and no longer moves, right? Jing is fully dead now. And Oka, you disappear into the crowd, you shove past people, you ignore the exploding firework display, like crowning above your head and like the darkening sky, like some sort of false constellation, right? And Jing, you lose Kane. You lose Kane in the crowd. Maybe you're like looking back over your shoulder, but you no longer see their long midnight blue horns coming after you. And now, speaking of the tent, let's cut to Manaia. Manaia, you have decided to not watch Kane. You have decided to move off from Tanga's tent in search of Tilat. So while all of this has been happening, starting from when Oka and V tried to infiltrate Kane's tent, and when Dewey was talking to Tanga and all those hijinks were going on, what have you been doing to try to find Tilat?
I think during all of this, I was still talking to the blood stompers. And she reunited briefly with Dewey, I think, to say, hey, I'm going to go look for Tilat. You want to come with? And I think Dewey was like, nah. So she's going off, basically going in the same direction that how to explain this? It's like we walked past Kane's tent to get to Tanga's. And Manaia's going to continue in that same direction down the forest line, the tree line.
Okay.
Just looking for something more rugged, something more permanent, whether it's a tent or maybe like a small cottage, something that stands out as maybe this isn't a regular competitor that just got here today.
Okay, why don't you make a perception check for me, please, as you go down the hill toward where the grassy knoll evens out, and the dark first line of trees looms up toward you to greet you. What did you get?
I'm going to keep this 12.
Okay, a 12. You look around, the closest tents have dared to erect their shanties maybe like 30 feet away from the tree line. No one really wants to get too close because it is Klathau Jungle, and even without the Carnival, it's pretty dangerous because it's a nature preserve with all sorts of beasts and like dangerous flora and fauna inside. You do notice, however, with a 12, a path. A very subtle path that just a regular person who wasn't looking for anything might have missed, but it seems to lead deeper into the woods. What do you do?
Does the path start at the tree line?
It does.
I'll look down the path, see if I can see anything in the woods before daring to venture in.
Why don't you make an investigation check in that case, because you're looking specifically at a thing.
14, somehow better.
Okay, a 14. Would you like to use any of your inspirations? All right, cool.
Isn't that important?
Sure. You squint at the darkening path because the sunless sky is starting to dim at this point, and you notice something that might be a structure, maybe 50 or 60 feet into the tree line, but built against a tree. Like one of those, not like a tree house, but where like people might set up like a hunting station, like in the trees. You can't tell with your 14 if it's populated right now or how old it is.
Whether or not it's populated, it's the best that she's got so far, best that I've got so far. So Manaia is going to prepare the spell Misty Step in case anything goes wrong. Just like have the magic at the ready and venture in.
The weave pulls tight at your body as the magic of Misty Step swirls inside your soul, ready to take you to safety should danger strike. And as you venture into the wood, you see signs nailed to trees by the front of the tree line in all 8 languages as well as common, basically being like, keep out, danger, do not enter, etc., etc., etc. Some of these signs look rather old, some of them look very new. Your boots crunch leaves and snap twigs underfoot, and the smell of damp earth wafts up from the dead forest floor to greet you. You hear the chirping of birds, the rustling of wings, and the buzzing of insects as you walk. There doesn't appear to be anyone else in here. And within a few moments, you arrive at, let's say, the hunting shack. You look up, you approach. There does not appear to be anyone in it, but something rather odd. There's a bunch of leaves piled in the shack. Like almost like a person size, like huge pile of leaves. And that's like immobile.
Inside the shack?
It's like an open shack. Like there's no roof,
okay.
really. It's like more like a platform, let's say. And there's just a huge pile of leaves. Green leaves in the platform. What do you do?
Considering I have, a not so small being in my soul who may or may not have been named after such a thing, but I was going to walk up and if it's just a pile of leaves, she's going to pick one up and inspect it. Maybe let
Okay.
the weave or let her magic coalesce in her fingertips to maybe get a better grasp of what's going on here.
So the shack is in the branches. So it's maybe like 10, 15 feet off the ground. How are you trying to get up there? Are you going to like climb a few feet up and then pull out a leaf, or?
Sure, I'll climb.
Okay, just make it an athletics check for me. Shouldn't be too hard for you.
I love to do those. That is athletics. 17.
Okay, that is more than sufficient. You grab onto the rough bark of this sturdy tree and you haul yourself a couple feet up, and then you reach out and pick up a leaf, or at least you try to, because the leaf, as soon as you pick it up, seems to be connected to the rest of the leaves by a net. And then the entire pile like moves, right? And the leaves all sort of slough off of the body of a human. And it turns out that this was a human hiding under like a leaf suit, right? Like what hunters might do, like what are those called? Inspiration for anyone who remembers what hunting suits are called.
Oh, ghillie suit?
Ghillie suits?
Yes, but
Yeah.
you can't have any more inspiration, so
Damn
that's
it.
wasted.
Ghillie suit.
Yes, a ghillie suit. Exactly. It's like a huge cape of leaves shrugged off, and you look directly into the face of Tilat. This human ranger, she's got like mud and dirt like on her face, very natural, with the lightly pigmented skin crisscrossing over her face, and this shock of like a crisply cut black hair around like a dark brown face. She turns to you and you see that she actually was in the middle of having like a short bow drawn, but like under the pile, like hidden. She turns and says, "Who are you? What do you want? It's dangerous in here."
Hey. I mean, harm. I just want to talk. And I think, am I like all the way up on the platform, or am I like just below it and I grab like a lower leaf?
Let's say you're like below it. She's looking down at you.
Okay. Manaia assumedly used her axe a little bit to climb up. Is gonna latch it into the bottom of the platform and swing up. But like very like more distant, so that she's not like in range or threatening.
It's a small platform. 2 people would be fairly cramped, I think. Would you still like to do that?
That's okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
As you can easily do that with your 17 athletics check, as you swing yourself up with this huge axe, latching onto the bottom of the platform, Talat's eyes widen, and she jumps off the platform, like the 15-foot drop, right? She actually does like a backflip somersault through the air, jumping off, and lands extremely lightly on her feet, 15 feet down. And you see that in that moment, she has while she was in the air, she knocked an arrow and let it loose as like a warning shot. And the arrow lodges into the trunk, like near your face, but like clearly was not meant to actually hurt you. And she lands at the base of the tree and has already knocked another arrow and is pointing it at you. Says, "What do you want?"
I just want to talk. I'm here by the carnival. Not the championship, the carnival.
"I'm wary of people who bring large weapons to talk."
It's more of a tool than a weapon. Are you familiar with the Hanahi? It's Han style.
She takes you in carefully. You've got like your hands raised, right, in like a
Mhm.
pacifistic gesture. You one of the championship contenders?
I'm here to stop the carnival. The championship just happens to be the same.
A lot of the champions, men and women and good guards have tried to stop the carnival. What makes you think you can do it?
May we talk? It will take a little bit of explaining.
Well, you did scare away all the game with your loud, clunking climbing, so I suppose there's nothing else for me to do. And she slowly lowers, like, the bow, but, like, is still regarding you very warily.
Manaia puts the axe on her back and sits down cross-legged on the platform. Assuming that they're going to come back up. Unless they stay, like, down there and want to talk down there.
She stays down there. She still seems wary of you,
Okay.
like a startled cat, maybe.
In that case, Manaia will jump down.
Okay. You land and, like, let's say, like, leaves swirl at your feet as you land. She eyes your outfit up and down, and her eyes linger on your huge axe. What do you need me for? And how do you know who I am? Why me?
Manaia sits down at this point, surrounded maybe by leaves, and she says, "Have you heard the stories of the paragons?"
Who hasn't?
Well, you know how the gods resigned themselves within 8 people to save the world or whatever happened.
So the legends say. I have to admit, I don't spend a lot of time around people. Not more than I have to.
You're going to think I'm lying, but by the 8 by Mahu's wind and waters, I swear I'm telling the truth. My companions and I are paragons. And we need your help to stop the carnival. You know the force better than anyone else, and we are not here for the championship. We are here simply because we believe a shard of an echo of a drop of Skada Nectus may be in that carnival.
I think like a silence hangs as you say this. Talat stares at you. And then she approaches you, and without like asking, she reaches up and is like examining your eyes like a doctor, right? And she holds up a hand, boom, and it glows like with light, and she's like shining it in your pupils, like maybe like grabbing at you in a kind of like medical way, and then lets go and says, "You haven't ingested any mushrooms, so I'm going to assume you're trying to speak what you think is the truth." I'm sorry. It's been a long time since anyone's made me laugh. And maybe on that, we'll cut back to Oka finally running into Tonga's tent after throwing Kane off your scent.
Yeah, I can, it's like this weird, kind of like a bungee thread that I think, something that like is connected to Oka's, I don't know, chest maybe, that can feel wherever Kane is. And I think they stop, like, they're like just like taking V on an adventure here. Like, we're just going around, until I think Kane like either stop or like head away. And then, they kind of will be a little bit sneaky because it's very close to Kane's tent, that they'll try to like sneak into Tonga's tent again.
Okay, so you've grabbed onto V.
Oh yeah, we're partying here, and I think at some point, Oka like looks down and over at V and is like, "Why are you bleeding?"
You always bleed. Why can't I bleed? This is. By the way, did you see all the animals are free? Their zoo back there is quite empty these days.
You know, I was a little busy on the whole fight to the death, but also it's normal when I do it. It's weird when you do it. And Oka kind of like slaps V on the back, and I'll cast my healing hand. So take your 9 HP back, my friend.
Heck yes.
And as that happens, I need both of you to make a dex save, actually.
Oh dear. How quickly?
No shit, natural 20, baby.
I'm only a 9.
27.
Yeah, so Oka, you're fine, but Vias, you regain 9 hit points and you lose 1. You lose 1 as that huge spiked armadillo rolls like across the frame and BAM! Like knocks you to the ground, and you lose the hit points not from the spikes or the armadillo, but from falling and knocking yourself against like a rock or something. The armadillo that you set free rolls off and like tramples like a tent as it continues to roll, and there's like people running after it being, come back here, etc., etc.
At least it wasn't a rhinoceros this time.
What do you... I'm not even going to ask.
Yeah. Yes, no, it's like a far memory. What was that, Oka? Why? What were you doing back there?
Well, we couldn't poison Kane, but obviously they're dangerous and we should keep an eye on wherever they are, so I made sure that we could know wherever they are.
Well, could you tell me wherever they are? Because I want to not be wherever they are.
Yeah, I think they're heading back to their big top. We should probably... I bet we could make it back to Tonga's tent before the fucking gong goes off. Come on, let's hurry.
V's gonna dust off and be a little and then follow Oka to wherever Oka wants to lead them.
Dewey, what are you doing moments before the tent bursts open with Oka and V?
He's holding the flaps of the tent together, closed, and he's got like one eye at the like where it's open, right before the flaps meet, and he's just like looking around. And so I guess he doesn't see like anyone coming from the sides. So
yeah, I think it's like nothing, and then all of a sudden like dark body, and it just poof. As Oka fucking pushes their way in from sneaking along the side.
Dewey, you are thrown to the ground and trampled.
He screams.
You scream by Oka and V running in, and immediately, Oka, I need you to make a strength save.
I'm rolling really well. Unnatural 20.
A huge bundle of muscle and fur shoves against you, Oka. You stumble back, but you don't fall as Xiaohu comes to Dewey's rescue, intercepts a rear body between our feathered friend and our drow-like Aasimar. Xiaohu has like claws out on rear organic arm and like metal claws out on rear prosthetic arm, and like rear tail is all fluffed up, and black like all the way down, and like rear eyeballs are huge, like big dilated kitty pupils, and ears like peeled back flat against rear skull. Just like, intruder, don't you dare! Oh,
What are you... intruder! We met like 40 minutes ago.
Oh, it's just you. My apologies. Shink! The claws go back in, returns to Cardu, holds out rear paw to help you up.
Dewey takes a moment, panics because he didn't know who was busting into his tent, but he realizes it's just Oka and V, and cautiously takes Xiaohui's hand. He gets up.
You should be more aware of your surroundings, Birdman.
How was I supposed to see them?
Do not
What-
miss
what-
the forest for the trees.
He turns to Oka and V. What did you get into? I thought we were being stealthy.
We were being stealthy. I mean, and then there was that huge unstealthy fight to the death. So, at least we'll always know where Kane is now.
But you had to get involved in the fight to the death?
I didn't want to. I thought the invisibility would stay on, but I guess I don't know the rules about it yet. Okay, I'm still figuring them out.
I
Figure
freed
them
our
out.
animal friends. I did a good deed today.
What do you mean by animal friends? Are you talking about the dangerous beasts that Kane keeps at the back of their tent? The monsters?
Well, they're not being kept there anymore. They're free and have lives unoppressed.
Wait,
Animal
V, you
rights.
freed a
God
bunch of
and nectar.
monsters?
God and nectar.
What?
God.
Shut up.
Dewey tells me to shut up ASMR. Tonga comes over with like a greasy work apron on, like goggles, gloves. She looks really frazzled. She's like, "Oh, there you are. Oh, where's your other friend, the big one? The gong's about to go off any minute now."
I thought she was with you.
Well, I thought she was with you.
She went to go find the other. She went to go find Tilat, which doesn't bode well.
Tilat? But she lives in the jungle itself. Oh dear, oh dear. I hope she makes it back in time.
Did you all just see what happened outside?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Xiaohu, if you can, avoid any and all direct confrontations with Kane. Just win. Don't try to fight your way through. Okay?
I'm no coward, unlike that tiefling. If circumstances call for an honorable duel, then who am I to decline?
You'd be alive to decline, my friend. It'd be better for everyone involved if you were.
You underestimate me. I have been meditating and training for months and months and months now. I am ready.
I've
Trust
seen it
me.
happen.
I think Oka was gonna say something, but then looks kind of sideways at Dewey.
I've seen it happen to more prepared competitors than you.
Peh! What do you know? You quit.
And maybe on that, Tonga wrings her hands and says, Xiaohu, let's... Cardew is a good friend of mine. Let's not give him a hard time, especially on the eve of such an important event. Oh dear, where is Mania? And we cut now to where is Mania? We cut to Tilat going, Oh, I can't believe you were serious.
Well, believe it. So,
So what? What is there to say? Right.
I'm assuming you want
You're a
carnival
paragon, and I'm a princess.
I don't know you. You can say whatever you'd like about yourself.
Exactly. You don't know me. And I don't know you. You want me to what? Be a tracker? Lead you and your other championship contenders to the carnival? You can say you're doing it for good reasons, but you're still part of the championship. Okay? I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you stand for. I've survived all these years on my own, and I intend to keep it that way.
So be it. But I have one last question, if you'd indulge me.
I feel
Have
like
you
I've
had-
indulged you long enough, but go ahead.
Since the cataclysm, stars going out, have you had any strange dreams?
What are you, from the kingdom? Other one. Well, of course, who hasn't?
What sort of dreams?
Tilat gives you an odd look, turns her head to the side. The regular kind of nightmares that you have after an earth-shattering cataclysm destroys your world as you know it.
A battlefield? Blood? Large creature? Wings? Eyes? Ring a bell?
Tilat frowns, turns her head to the side, squints at you carefully. Listen, stranger, I don't usually do this, but I really mean it this time. You should seek help. Just not from me. No, I've never had those dreams before. I'm not exactly sure why you're asking.
Well, thank you for your time. And sorry about scaring the game away. You can see stealth is not my strong suit.
They'll be back. And she raises an arm, and then there's like a fluttering noise, and a falcon lands on her arm, and it's got like little bits of like game in its mouth. And Tilat takes a bit from the falcon, and the falcon flies off. And she says, "I've got a friend watching out for me in case something like this happens." And she straps the game to her waist and begins to make off deeper into the woods. But before she pulls out of view completely, she sort of throws over her shoulder. There's a center to this. The carnival, I mean. It's got branches spanning out from a center, like legs coming off the body of a spider. And maybe that particular imagery makes you, Manaia specifically. And she says, "I'd avoid the center at all possible costs if I were you. Try cutting off the legs first." And she just goes,
While
paragons.
while she says this, Mania is going to make a very big point about going over to the tree that the platform was on, and touch the tree and repair the parts of the tree, like the bark and like the little divots that her axe made, and whisper a little prayerful apology, channeling the princess's energy to restore it.
Is there a specific spell you're using, or is this just sort of something you're like trying to do?
Just something I'm trying to do. The princess does a lot of stuff with trees and seasons and stuff, and who knows? Maybe it'd work.
Okay, yeah, sure, why not? Just make an Arcana check.
Okay. 14.
Okay, yeah. That's enough to be like localized to just this one tree. You touch the tree and the bark begins to suture itself back up, like the divots like disappear, like you're rewinding the clock right where the tree is, and like little, I think like green, like pollen like sparkles, like erupt from where the tree's healing itself. You can feel the princess stirring within your soul as Tilat disappears into the underbrush. Her falcon like fluttering through the canopy above her.
And I make my way back.
Okay. I think Oka, Dewey, and V, why don't you tell me the scene that Manaia returns to? Is it like right after what Tonga says, or has like a few more minutes passed?
I feel like maybe Oka and Xiaohu are arguing over the best like place to go in. Like, should we go first or should we go after? And Oka's like, let everyone else go in first. Like, go in first. It doesn't make sense to run into the fray and wait for the traps to get triggered and then walk through.
That's the coward's way out. We must lead the charge.
It's not a coward's way. It is a smart way.
Peh. Cowards always say they have brains. But who needs brains when you have bravery?
Who needs brains when you're dead?
What? I don't understand.
Meanwhile, V's over in the corner. not really saying it into the conversation, but just thinking out loud. Personally, I would just look for a way that everybody's not going, and then I'd go that way, because why would I'd be looking for back doors. I don't know. I'd rather sneak my way through this place than directly go into it. But
There aren't any doors in a jungle.
Well, what do you know? There's a carnival in the jungle. There's usually not a carnival there. What are you going to be surprised by a door?
Tonga says the carnival is a megaphor.
Metaphor, darling, metaphor.
A metaphor for what?
I'm not sure exactly. People do report that there are carnival noises, music, dancing, the smell of delicious cooked things, etc. But something very interesting about all these reports, there's nothing uniting it, really. There's no common report of, like, say, a gigantic big top, right? Like Kane has fashioned their tent into, or reports of magnificent animals in cages. It's all different, depending on who's reporting it. So I think the carnival is more or less a metaphor, some sort of magical phenomenon that is less an attraction and more a mirror? That's just my theory, though. What do you think, Cardew?
Dewey's just been. I think Oka and Xiaohu are like roughly the same height, so they're talking at each other, and Dewey's like a little bit lower, and he's trying to get an word in edgewise, opposing Xiaohu's ideas, basically. We gotta be as careful about this as we can. We're not gonna be able to fight our way through some sort of like magical curse, sickness, rage.
Well, not with that
we're lucky.
attitude.
If we're lucky, we won't have to.
Oh, grade 8, there you are.
Oh, okay. Safe.
Oh, Manaia, where have you been?
I found Tilat.
Did you?
I
Wow.
did. She's understandably so, not interested in the championship and is quite opposed to people busting into the space where she lives.
That does make sense. I've heard that she's more beast than person. Is it true?
I wouldn't go that far, but I can confirm she is not a paragon, and she is not competing, though I did get some valuable information from her. The carnival, the magical phenomena, she described it as spreading out like tree roots in these sort of lines, and if we can find where we can go in between one of them, we might be able to get to the core, which is assumedly where the shard or the echo of assumedly Scott and Nectus are.
That's good information.
All right.
All I've got then.
She didn't agree to lead us through the woods, did she?
I have no bartering chips. She's survived alone this long, and I couldn't offer her what she didn't already have.
Dang it! You should have hunted some pheasants. She loves pheasants. She might have done it for like 20 pheasants.
I'm not a hunter of land game, Tanga, otherwise I would.
She's not a hunter of water game either. And Oka kind of winks.
Oh, Mania, like, laps them on the arm a little bit. Oh.
I'm sorry, I know you're shy about it. It's just... Anyway. You didn't much here, just a casual fight to the death, so Kane's the only one left of the 3 contenders if Tilat is not joining us.
Kane, then? Well... I'm sure they'll be smart about it, but they'll make a big show of going very loudly and bravely, I'm sure. Wouldn't be hard to keep an eye on them if we needed to.
Oh, Manaia, you missed the whole fight to the... Excuse me. playing Xiao is catching up to me. My god. Let me try that again. Oh, Manaia, you missed it. It was horrific. Kane got dispatched of Jing like they were nothing. One hit and Jing was dead.
Dead?
Just like that.
How did you... Why
and
did
then
you
Oko
allow
went and
this-
had to animate their dead body to piss off Kane.
It was
So
actually-
we've got a target on our back.
it looks
Well,
pretty
I have
amazing.
a target on their back now. It's fine. We're targeting.
They're probably looking for their animals.
First of all, why didn't you stop this? We know people can't die. What would Rev think?
To be fair, we were busy trying to sneak in. We didn't really have time to protect anybody.
You were busy not thinking.
And
Oh.
to be fair, they knew the consequences. They asked for a fight to the death. It's not my place to tell them no, if that's what they want.
We are among the only people on Andake that know our souls don't go to the after anymore.
I think people are starting to figure it out, Manaia. Clerics even can feel the empty. It's gone.
There's no time to bicker. The gong is going to go off any minute now, and we have to be ready.
Right.
Any last-minute preparations we need?
You got
Rations?
Yes. I've packed a little satchel for each of you. And Tonga takes out like a tiny little pack full of like food and like water and like emergency torches, etc. And like lays it on like the tea table. One for each of you, herself included.
Wait, Tonga, you're not. Are you coming into the jungle?
Well, of course I am. I think one of the biggest mistakes I and Cardu made as mentors all those years ago was not throwing our hat in to the contest. If only we'd been there to monitor everything in person without the intention to win, of course, but just to support, perhaps we could have made a difference. So, yes, I'll be going in too.
Okay, how well can you fight? Can you defend yourself?
Well, I don't really have any hand-to-hand combat training, but I've got plenty of inventions that will keep me safe.
You know that there's no such thing as just observing, right?
I know. The idea of an objective third-person observer is moot, as we all know as scientists, but I'm willing to get my hands dirty, because I can't just stand by and let people get hurt and die anymore, Cardew. I have to be a part of this. I'm implicated already.
So you're gonna throw yourself away then, too.
Well, I don't intend to throw my life away like it's worth nothing.
Well, that's what happens to everyone. We've seen it. It's just a giant waste of life.
Is that what you think? Cardew, then what are you doing here? Then what's the entire point of this? Then what did everyone die for then, huh? What did Rose die for?
Who's Rose?
And on that gong, a massive gong noise plays. Like just reverberating throughout the entire camp, situated outside of Klathau Jungle. And almost immediately, all of you hear the clomping of hooves, like against the earth, like the ground shaking as people are whooping and like hollering and crying and like running and cheering and making their way down this grassy hill into the forest, basically exactly where Mania had just walked out of. You can hear people singing and shouting and laughing, whooping, all excited noises, right? And all manner of beasts, not just people with two legs running, but like horses and ostriches, right? And other mounts just galloping their way into the jungle. And various lights flash by, like the outside of your tent as people carry torches and illuminate the way with magic and other means. And then the gong seems to like vibrate against your eardrums as well, as another one gong rings out and peals across the entire camp in a very shrill manner. What do the four of you do?
Where is Kane?
You feel them connected to your body by your blood magic, right? And it's sort of like you can sense them like a magnet moving through your bloodstream, right? So something heavy and important. And you can feel Kane toward the front of where everyone is. They're moving very fast, like a lot faster than what a person can run. So they're definitely on something, either a vehicle or a mount, right? And they're moving very, very quickly toward the forest. Probably a couple 100 feet away at this point.
Well, shall we get going towards the forest?
Everyone's on the move. Xiaohu, if you want to get in front, you already missed your chance. So let's go.
Right. Tonga, stay close to me. I'll...
Was that it? Were you done talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tonga, stay close to me and don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Okay, it's happening. Oh gosh, my heart's pounding so fast. Cardu, are you ready?
No.
Cardu, it's now or never. We have to go.
I know, but
You talk too much and think too much.
And Xiaohu picks you up by the back of, I assume you have Tonga's armor on, right? That she made you, and like picks you up by the back of like where the helm would collapse against the neck, and pulls you outside, Dewey. And as the rest of you also
Unhand
pile
me.
outside, maybe you're like fluttering around with your feathers going. You see that Xiaohu's panther has stirred, is like upright and is like pawing at the ground and is snarfling around, and like looking. Yes, I will continue to use the term snarfling to describe mounts, okay? Fuck you. And it's like the panther's got like tack on, right? And Xiaohu jumps onto the back of the panther and lets you go. Cardi looks around. There's everyone. People are just rushing past. You see like a small elephant, ka-choo, stomp past, letting out a big ivory tusks swinging as multiple people are on the back, like whooping and hollering, holding spears and longbows, etc. On the back of this elephant, you see horses and gazelles and zebras just running past you, the ground shaking, and just people on feet as well, running so excited. People peeking out of tent flaps, dressed in armor, strapped to like the teeth, to their toes with like weapons, etc. of all kinds. And maybe on that, as all of you get ready to run down the hill into Klathau Jungle, we will take a break. We're gonna finally enter the carnival! The second half of this episode. So we will be back in 10 minutes. We will see you. It's 5 p.m. CDT here, so we'll see you around 5:18, 5:20ish. Stay tuned. Take a stretch. Take a bio break. Get some water. Get some food. Get some snacks. We love you all so much. We'll be back in 10. And until then, peace.
From a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing. I learned to swallow light to illuminate my darkness. I learned to feel love when I look upon my dark things. I learned this from a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing. I learned to swallow to illuminate my darkness. I learned to feel love when I look upon my dark things. I learned this from a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing. watch it dancing, learned to watch it. I learned to swallow them, to illuminate my darkness. I learned to feel love when I look upon my dark, when I look. I learned this from a witch who was born of many gems. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it dance for them. I learned to see. I learned to swallow light. I learned to illuminate my darkness. I learned to swallow love to illuminate my darkness. I learned what to feel love when I look upon my darkness. I learned this from a witch who was born of many gems. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dance.
Sitting and see, fucked up in a suffocating, sensual, terrifying. I want my sex like I want my destiny. Awestruck in beauty, take me in my body. Diamond mesh girl, lay me in my glamour tomb. If that should take me, still be VIP. Take my body one more time. My last breath can be yours to keep. Yours to keep. Yours to keep. Diamond mesh girl, lay me in my glamour tomb. If that should take me, still be VIP. Take my body one more time. My last breath can be yours to keep. Yours to keep. Yours to keep. Oh, bitch, give me a skeleton key. Now this pin's in your eyes, blood on my teeth. Oh, bitch, give me a skeleton.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Arc 3, Episode 6 of Transplanar RPG, Lost in a Valley of Rot. So as a reminder of content warnings before we get right back into business. Content warnings include disreality, ultra-violence, body horror, gore, time slippage, hallucinations and illusions, human sacrifice, natural disasters, alcohol and substance use, addiction, death of loved ones, memory loss, emotional trauma and baggage, self-destructive behavior, bloodletting, cults and cult-like behavior, anxiety and panic attacks described in detail. This might be a pretty intense couple of episodes coming up, so please take care of yourselves however you need to. Use exclamation point CW in chat anytime to remind yourself what the content warnings are. And please don't feel bad about having to step away from the stream. We understand how difficult things can be, especially in a live play streamed format, to anticipate, what triggers might appear for you. So with that out of the way, let's hop right back into the session. Klathau Jungle sprawls in front of you like an emerald gem. Green and dark, its depths beckoning you in. There are various paths leading into the jungle, and you all would know, based on prior research, that they end pretty soon after, because the depths of Klathau are not meant to be trod by people. And yet, now, Oka, Manaia, Dewey, and V, as the four of you stand at the top of this hill looking down at this sea of green spanning open in front of you like the horizon. Dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of people swarm down the gentle slope of this grassy knoll and pour into the woods, almost like a conquering army marching in to achieve victory over an embattled foe. as people strapped to the nines with knives, weapons, longbows, mauls, hammers, axes, longswords, etc., rush past you, many of them on mounts, several of them even driving wagons and vehicles that remind you of the derelict Death Derby back in the Court of Ravens. What do the four of you do?
Xiaohu is on their Rear's Panther's back, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think then we're going for mounts, then it seems. So Oka will whistle for their elk to come to them and we'll kind of like grab a horn and like swing on.
Sounds good. The elk comes tromping over from where you'd leashed them, close to Tanga's tent. You swing onto their broad, furry back. The rest of you?
Owlbear is taken. Manaia is not sad about that.
Dewey rode in with Oka, right?
Yes.
Because he doesn't know how to ride animals great. So he's gonna hop on the
shit,
back
I
then.
have a horse.
You do.
Duh.
You have Big Papa. You got Big
my
Papa,
God.
Manaia.
Forgot about Big Papa.
Are you calling for Big Papa, Manaia?
Sure.
Okay, wonderful.
I'm not going to call for Big Papa. I'm going to go to where I put Big Papa, assumingly next to the elk and the panther. Probably scared shitless.
That's true. Yeah, Big Papa is snorting, pawing the ground nervously, staring at these two more predatory-like mounts, let's say. And Elk's got big horns. That's scary to a horse. As Manaia, you swing onto Big Papa. Do you allow V to climb onto Big Papa's back?
I'll reach out a hand.
Okay.
How about V is looking to maybe jump on a passing wagon, and perhaps Manaia might have to grab V and put on the mount.
V, if you're looking to get on a wagon, now is not the time. You can jump off of this horse later. But for now, we need to just get in there.
Fine. And does like a nice little jump up onto the horse, like a Western movie.
Okay, awesome. And now that all of you are on your mounts, what do you do?
Right. Dewey, Oka, you two can fly. If you can fly up and find out maybe where the tendrils are, the roots from the carnival, we can try to avoid those.
I can't fly for long, but Dewey,
I guess.
Just be careful up there.
Yeah.
Lord knows what kind of aerial or ranged weapons they might have to prevent you.
just stay over top of us. Don't go too far.
Yeah. All right. Am I going into the forest first, or am I riding a little bit into the forest first, I think.
Okay, then you're gonna take off and go like above the canopy, like the tree line, but like following your party. Okay, sounds good. The four of you on your mounts, accompanied by Tanga, who hops onto the back of Xiaohu's panther, gallop down this gentle slope. And as you do, like the trees rise up to meet you, growing tall, their bristling branches sticking out, almost like arms welcoming you home. And as all of you charge toward this tree line, your mounts enter into the shade of the forest. And you can smell like pine needles, dead leaves, earthy soil wafting up to meet you as you trot through the woods. You see, like, all around you, there's movement as well from other riders, from other championship contenders, whooping. You see, like, one person, like throwing around, like, a slingshot. And basically, as soon as you enter, it starts to feel like a free-for-all. Because you see this person, like, whirling a slingshot over their head, and they let it go. And the rock clobbers someone else who's riding a horse on the back of the head. And this person just drops like a sack of potatoes, and the horse keeps going, right? But the people they were riding with immediately, like, return fire with, like, short bows. They're, like, riding, they turn around on their horses and start shooting in sort of like a traditional, like, Kyrian style, as they, like, ride backwards on their horses, but shoot, like, from behind. And it seems like people people are starting to attack each other, starting to like take out the competition, right? And this is sort of like part of championship tradition. Basically, Atalanta has said anything goes, and she did not explicitly forbid killing each other or attacking each other. So people are taking the loophole almost immediately. What do the four of you do?
V, how well can you ride?
I can try.
Right, switch with me.
Okay, V, I think it'd be much easier for V to go around Mania than vice versa. So, V,
And I will just scoot back.
yeah, and then almost like leapfrogging over and on. Oh, and it, like lets out a little as the lands down back on the horse.
Thank you for clarifying that, Erica. Why don't you take a point of inspiration? Because I feel like you made yourself creatively vulnerable by saying that.
Creatively vulnerable.
God. Manaya's going to take out her axe and hold it really close to the axe head and try to use it as a shield.
Oh, that's really smart. To like defend yourself from like people just randomly shooting at you and throwing things at you, right? Okay, sounds good. So let's say I'll give you advantage on any rolls used to like deflect attacks from people, whether it's saves or any other rolls I might call for.
Do you want me to roll animal handling or anything to see how well V can ride?
It sounds like you want to, so why don't you roll animal
Let's
handling?
do it.
Oh my god, what did you get?
I'm gonna use that point of personal inspiration I just gained. I got a 4 and I have 0 for animal handling.
Yikes.
Okay, a 14.
Okay, 14. A 14, that is average. Let's say I'm going to call that a mixed success. So I'm going to give you a hard choice. So the horse is either going to fucking hate you, like Big Papa is just going to detest you, or you are going to get real tired from wrestling Big Papa and mark a point of exhaustion.
Oof! Ouch! I think Big Papa's gonna hate me. This
Okay.
feels accurate.
This seems like the better choice mechanically, but is it spiritually? We will see. The hatred of a horse is immortal. So yeah, Big Papa is immediately, as soon as you start riding, just goes, nay, nay.
This actually reminds me of a story from my personal life, but that's for after the session.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and Oka and Dewey, the two of you can hear Big Papa just like snarling for the first time that you've heard a horse snarl, maybe at V as soon as V starts driving him. And the two of you also see the like flames being thrown by like casters, and arrows whizzing through the air. What did the two of you do?
Oka shifts from like sitting on their elk's backs. They use like one of the prongs of the elk's horns to kind of like lift themselves up. So they have like 1 foot on like its haunch, not its haunches, its withers, which is that like kind of lump on its shoulders, and the other foot kind of like propped on its spine. And they're like holding on to one of the to a horn in one hand, and they're going to use their good old culling edge. Because it technically has a parry move on it that I forgot about, but it does. So I am going to spend the hit die to unsheath culling edge, which begins to kind of like crackle with a low flame, as Oka does.
Awesome. I love that. Why don't you take inspiration for that? That's really cool. Dewey, what are you doing?
Dewey has moved the flying sword's sheath to the front of his body, and he's ducking down as low as he can on the elk, and he's just got one hand on like the latch, I guess. And he's terrified. He's holding on for dear life.
Okay. As you run, you can hear Tonga calling at you from holding on to Xiaohu's back. Cardu, aren't you gonna fly up? Is it time for you to fly up?
I think Dewey's just too... He doesn't respond. He's too much in shock.
Okay, I like that. But Tonga keeps shouting at you, and all of you can hear Tonga growing like increasingly more frustrated at you, Cardu, as you don't respond. She just goes, Cardu, come on, we need you. What's ahead? Where are we gonna go? And interrupting this, yes, Oka.
I feel like Oka like looks back at Dewey, like where they're like surfing on the back of their elk, and they're like, if you don't get in the fucking air in the next 2 minutes, I'm gonna kick you off.
Dewey reluctantly puts the sword back on his back, and he's gonna cast Sanctuary around himself. And then take off, I guess.
Really quickly, what does Sanctuary look and feel like?
I'm warding myself against attack. I think it's just like a little projection of like a bubble around him.
Like in Super Smash, when you're like defending. Pew!
Yeah, yeah.
You're shielding, yeah.
Dewey presses down B, and you.
Oh my god. Not even down B.
I don't know
Come
what it is. I don't play Smash because I shower.
Right bumper.
So what? What right bumper? Right. What does it look like as you take to the air, Cardu?
It's just like a blur of feathers and all the things that are jangling around on his belt, I think, because he didn't take time to take them off. And he kind of, you see him like disappear into the leaves, and the leaves come like fluttering down because he's flapping his wings. And then
Okay.
he's gone.
Love it. Poof, and you take off into the air. You maneuver your way around branches that overlap above you, and whoosh, are you breaking above the canopy, or are you still flying and you have to like dodge between branches? There are pros and cons to both. If you break above canopy, party will be harder to track, but you don't have to maneuver around so many branches. If you stay underneath, you'll be able to see everything that's going on, but you're gonna have to dodge pretty often.
There. I think he's better at dodging branches, so he'll stay under the canopy.
Okay, sounds good. So as the four of you take up positions, defensive positions, and also like scouting positions in Dewey's case. Manaia, V, and Oka, I need the three of you to make a dex save. And Mania, you can have advantage on the save because of your axe. And Oka, because you've readied your parry, does that do anything specifically when you take it, like get attacked?
Let me double check. But I rolled a 19 plus 7, so whatever the number that is.
7 plus 7.
Yeah,
Nope.
proficiency bonus and my dexterity plus 7, baby.
I can't talk. I have a plus 7 to athletics, but I got a 19.
19,
For
nice.
dexterities.
Okay, that's a 26 from Oka, 19 V.
10.
V, would you like to take collective inspiration, or do you want to take the L?
Let's just take the L. Why not? Maybe that'll change my luck if I take one of these L's.
Okay. So I think a cloud of arrows like just whirls down, not specifically targeting you, but y'all are like in the crossfire of, I think, like two groups firing at each other, right? And both of their arrows. So like arrows coming from your left flank rain down on Manaia and V, arrows coming from your right flank rain down on Oka, as well as Xiaohu and Tonga. Oka and Manaia, the two of you succeeded, and quite well. So let's say you only take half damage, and whatever parry also reduces it by. So that is going to be, half damage is going to be 6 piercing. 12 piercing for full damage, because it's quite a few arrows. So V, you're going to take that. Okay, how does parry work? You roll your...
I expend 1 of my blood die to reduce by the number on my die plus my dex modifier. So let me roll a d6 real quick.
Okay, sounds good.
Dex mod? About to take no damage.
Yeah, I don't take any fucking damage from that.
Awesome. Okay, describe to me what it looks like as you parry away this cloud of arrows.
Yeah, I think they're all, it's so cool. Like, it's a little bit like monk shit, but it's so cool where they just like the blade on their arm, they like have the, they just like are holding on and riding at full speed, and they just like slice through the air where each of the arrows is coming at them.
Cool. And like arrow tips just fall next to you. You're like, and you're holding on to like the velvet covered horn of your fucking elk as you do this. Such a badass moment. Manaia, what does it look like as you deflect?
I think V sees the long handle of Manaia's axe and maybe the conga tied at the tip of the head, sort of flying around her in her peripheral vision, as Manaia holding it by partially like the hammer side of the axe head, partially by like the handle right beside it, is just like whipping around, blocking arrows.
Okay,
Um,
awesome. But
and
if you like
if you
get
manage to
through,
get through.
right? Like, but it's fine. It's not a super huge deal. They just get stuck in your armor a bit. You're like, whatever, But like you block off the majority of it. V, why don't you paint us a picture of how you're struggling in the driver's seat, and maybe Big Papa, screws you over.
So Big Papa is like going forward, but the head is bucking every which way and like just really hates the fact that V exists. Is very offended by the existence of V. So V is like struggling, and all of a sudden just an arrow like thwops right into the thigh, and like V doesn't see it for a second, but then she just like looks down, looks up, looks down. Screaming.
Impeccable comedic timing. Why don't you take inspiration for that? And apparently you're gonna need it like immediately again. Okay, yeah. V, as we focus on you with your bleeding thigh, right, with this arrow sticking out of it, and that's like 12 points of piercing because it's a good hit right in the meaty part of your thigh. You scream, and as you look around, you see maybe 80 feet off, right, in the distance, just sort of standing in the woods as like horses run past him. Sievert. He is just standing there in his suit, right? His hands clasped sort of in front of his waist and looking at you as you ride past, right? Like his head tracks you.
You had to do it to him.
Yeah, he's the I'm
sorry, I messed up
Fury,
this moment.
but you just made that so funny. Yeah, you see Sievert having to do it to you.
This will be a hard episode with lots of content warnings. Also, Connie, this horse hates you, and your boyfriend, your ex-boyfriend, is having to do it to you. So good luck.
God.
V. I mean, V is very seriously contemplating jumping off this horse right now. V is gonna kind of close her eyes tight and like try to get closer to the bucking neck of Big Papa and just be like, Skada Nectus, Skada Nectus, Skada Nectus. And
interesting.
Try to like just not acknowledge that they just possibly drove by Sievert.
Okay, I really like that. Why don't you take another point of inspiration for that? And now let's go quickly to Dewey. I'm gonna need you to make an acrobatics check to see how well you can maneuver these various vines and branches and birds' nests and like leaves and thorns, etc. in the canopy.
17.
17. Let's say that is almost fully successful, save for one minor drawback. So I'll have you choose between you get slowed down and you're now like several dozen feet behind the party, or like some thorns and like vines, etc. are gonna like slap at you kind of hard. You're gonna take some damage.
I think I'm certainly not able to keep up with galloping horses.
Yeah,
creatures.
totally.
Yeah. So I get slowed down a little bit and I yell, but they can't hear me. I'm pretty high up in the air.
Yeah, and there's like people shouting and arrows whizzing and the noise of like horses running. Yeah, your voice gets completely drowned out. And now you're like maybe 20 feet behind the party now. But you can still see like Oka's elks, like back hooves, like kicking up, but there's other horses coming in now. And you're sort of like losing even like a gigantic Mania, on Big Papa's back. Like you're losing her like in the foliage, but you're flapping and you're going. And Dewey, as vines slap at your face and like leaves also like hit you like directly in the eyes, etc., you hear a voice sort of like cutting above like the clopping of like hooves and like the shouting of people and like the whizzing of arrows through the air. You hear a voice cut through, a familiar voice that just goes very, very far in the distance. Cardu, are you there? Help! And you recognize this voice. It's Ualani, your ex-wife. What do you do?
I think he turns his head and gets smacked by a branch and falls out of the air.
I love it. Bam! Poof.
Like crashes through branches.
Fucking love that. Because you're like, what the hell? And I think you fall, right, layer after layer after layer of like the canopy. And let's say maybe you like fall onto the ground, right? You like fall onto the forest floor because you're like so disoriented. And I'm gonna have you take, not too much, 6 points of bludgeoning damage as you fall down, hit by this branch, etc. And now there's just like hooves are just tromping all around you, right? There's just, you're in danger of getting trampled. So I need you to make a dex save to like roll out of the way and gather your wits about you. Act under pressure, right? Oh boy.
Do I want to die? No, it's not that bad. I have inspiration. I'm gonna roll again.
Okay.
I don't
yeah.
feel like dying yet.
Okay, not yet.
No, the first one was better.
You have 2 more inspiration. We have 5 collective.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it then. I'm
Okay,
gonna use
2.
mine.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. 19.
19. Okay, not bad. So you roll out of the way, and let's say you only take half damage. Let's say like one horse in particular stomps down on a part of your body. Tell me what part.
Do pigeons have tails? No.
Yeah, tail feathers. Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I think someone catches the edge of like, his tail, and he's like trying to get up, and it like pulls him back down.
I like it. Yeah, and it grabs onto you. So let's just take 4 points of bludgeoning damage again as this hoof like comes down, maybe like dislodges a few feathers on the back of your body, and you roll into like a safer part of like the underbrush, let's say like into a pile of bushes, and you sit there. But at this point, you've become pretty separated from the party. Speaking of which, let's go back to the party, specifically to Oka. Oka, you are standing on the stag. You don't really see Dewey flying in the canopy. Maybe you did when Dewey first flew up there, but you don't see him anymore. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm like peering up, you know, like, and Oka's standing on top of an animal, so they're like they're looking for him, but they can't tell if he's not there or if he's just up higher.
Totally. As you're looking up, where do you have Dream Hunter strapped on your body?
It is literally tied so tightly against my, just like sideways against my back.
Okay, sideways against your back, you feel the scabbard begin to rattle. Like vibrate a little. And even through the scabbard and through your clothes, you can feel like heat. Like it's like, not like melting, but it seems to be activating in response to something, and the vibrating begins to get more violent. What do you do?
I take a motherfucking sip for that hydrate redemption, first of all. And that panics Oka, I think. That's a little bit of panic, just considering that in every single dream for the last 7 days, at least, the sword has been stabbing them of its own accord in their dreams. And they stop deflecting with their sword arm, and they reach and they like grab the hilt.
Okay.
Or like through, because they like wrapped it around in fabric too, so nobody could see the beautiful scabbard it's in also, but they like grab onto it.
You grab onto the hilt, 2 things happen. The first thing that happens is you hear Dream Hunter's voice, the same dream voice, right? That's haunted you for the past however many days since you've acquired it illegally, emanate in your head. Like as soon as you make physical contact with it, there's like a connection forged, right? And hear its voice go, "There is a worthy one nearby. Bring me to them. Now."
Are you completely mad? No!
The second thing that happens is Dream Hunter burns you as you wrap your fingers around the hilt. So I'm going to need you to take 9 points of fire damage.
All right. Cool, no problem. And I think Oka hisses and like lets go of it.
Okay. You let go, but Dream Hunter is vibrating, and now that you've forged that like physical connection, you can intuit the direction that Dream Hunter wants you to go. Like in your body, like you can feel Kane. And interestingly enough, it seems to be in the direction that Kane is headed. And you're like, God damn it, if it's gonna be Kane, I'm gonna fucking kill something. Preferably Kane. And on that, let's cut quickly back to Manaia. Manaia, you notice V has gone oddly quiet, right? And like still in the driver's seat after you've done like doing your like cool like monk shit, right, with your axe. What do you do?
At a pause in the arrows, Mania leans forward and goes and like shakes her shoulder a little bit and maybe grabs the reins from behind her and goes, "Hey, hey, hey, you all right?"
I I've seen Sievert in the forest. I'm just trying to hide.
This far out, it's already happening. Listen, V, it's not real. He's not here. All right?
I'm if he's here, I'm not ready to fight him. I used up a
Both we
lot of
aren't.
my power trying to distract Kane's little circus tent.
Of course we aren't. That's why you need to focus. All right? Grab these reins. Pull left to go left, right to go right. More arrows are coming. All right? Just focus. Mania leans back.
As you lean back, Mania, you feel the princess stir in your soul. And she usually doesn't like stir unless it's to warn you of danger or like to teach you about magic, right? So the fact that you can feel your soul like beginning to like swirl with like a gentle wind inside your body, and you're like, okay, what's going on? And then you hear the princess's voice kind of urgent in your head go, Mania, are you there?
Yes, yes. What is it?
I can sense her. It doesn't make any sense, but it's her. I can feel her. She's nearby.
Ooh!
Nolly. She's somewhere in here. I can feel her. She's here. We have to go there. I'll send you a vision. And poof, like you're immediately like you're the forest that's like rushing by, this greenery just collapses, right? And it's like you're seeing like dozens of feet ahead, right? Boom, 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 like you're a drone piloting through, and you see like past like a boulder, past like a huge tree, right? Like past where like two warring groups of people on horses are like flinging fire at each other. You see a woman running. The back of her head, you see like her skirts billowing in the wind, and she's running. She's making her way, but then you're getting so close to her, you can see like her dark skin, like her like beautiful, like hugely, decorated hair. It looks like Nolly, and she's running toward something, away from someone. You're not sure if she's running to something or away from something. And then poof, you rubber band back, and you're thrown back into your body. There, her. I saw her. I could sense her. We have to go, Mania. We have to go.
Mom, I thought... V, faster, faster! And I think Mania, like, squeezes Big Papa's
Sides.
sides, yes. And, like, really digs in to get Big Papa to go faster, which probably isn't great for V, whom Big Papa is not fond of.
Okay, yeah. I really like that. Are you trying to get Big Papa to go, like, roughly in the direction of where you saw this woman who looked like Nolly? Or are you
Assumedly she was almost directly in front of me.
Yes, but maybe let's say going off a little bit to the east, right? Like going off in like easternly, so you wouldn't be continuing directly north.
Okay. Yeah, kind of.
Okay, you would have to basically like cut Oka off to like get in that direction though, or like go off like away off of the path you're on and like take a little bit of a detour. Do you do it?
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oka, as you go, ow, and you like throw your hand away from the hilt, you sense Big Papa like moving up kind of close to your elk's flank. Like Mania's trying to take you over and then cross in front of you. What do you do?
I actually think it would be really interesting if Oka's off balance, from like getting burned, and they're not really thinking about which direction they're going, that they're and they're not really holding onto the reins. They're really just like driving by moving the elk's horns. And I think they like kind of like wrench up kind of hard, which maybe sends the elk like probably bumps into Big Papa and then probably skids and falls, rolls and falls, and Oka would like kind of make a jump for it and roll and fall as well.
Okay, I'm okay with that if y'all are okay with that. So let's say as Big Papa, because both Big Papa and the elk are big. Right? They're big animals. And as they bump into each other, the elk sort of like annoyedly like tosses its head, but Big Papa's like, the back legs sort of kick up, into into the elk's face, and the elk like, loses its balance, right? And you're not really driving it, and it loses its footing and falls to the side, right, Mania, as you cut past and in front of Oka, but like you're moving, right? So you're gone. You're like going forward. You're like now like leaving Oka in the dust, basically. Oka, just make an acrobatics check to see if you can land on your feet.
19.
Okay, that is sufficient. You don't take damage. You land gracefully onto your feet as the elk skids and falls hard onto its side. And rushing past you are Tonga and Xiaohu, who go, Tonga goes, Oka! But Xiaohu goes, and like continues driving the panther, right? It's like, no, we'll come back for you. Just stay there.
Keep going. I'm fine. I think Oka did a roll, but then like landed on their feet somehow. And they're like, okay, fuck, and looks in the direction that Manaia and V just went off in.
Which is opposite from the direction where Kane is headed and also where Dream Hunter wants you to go. And then you can hear Tanga's like voice disappearing amidst all the chaos. Go, and where's Dewey? I haven't seen him in minutes. As like the panther like jumps over a boulder, and disappears into the underbrush. And now I think we rubber band back to Dewey. Dewey, how you doing? What are you up to?
What are you doing?
Dewey is, he just took a hard fall. So he's on the ground, and he hasn't quite, like, his head's still spinning or whatever. He's on the ground and he's looking around, because he's pretty disoriented, and he's trying to figure out which direction the voice came from.
Okay, why don't you make a survival check for me?
Well, that's a 21.
Heck yeah! Nice! I forgot that you used to be like a
Nice.
ranger. So with your 21 survival check, it seems to be coming from due west of where you are. And based on how far away it was, the forest is distorting it somewhat, but you did roll high. It's probably maybe a 10-minute walk from where you are, 10, 15-minute walk from you. What do you do?
Once he comes to his senses, I think he scrambles up in the rough direction of where his party was going and away from the voice.
Okay. As you get up and start to, you're like shaking it off, right? You're headed to the party. What's your passive perception?
Oh no. 12?
12. Are you flying? Are you going to risk flying or are you like jogging?
I think he's running, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I like that. You jog, you're like pushing past ferns that like get in your face, like pushing past these branches and vines, like ducking under like tall, thick twigs. You get the sense that you're being followed. What do you do? And at this point, Dewey, most of the crowd of the contenders have left you behind. You're more or less fairly alone, save for like one or two figures like running, similar to you. But you can't exactly make out their features.
I think he's going to run, keep running faster, and if he can get to like a big log and jump over it and then duck behind the log, so whoever's behind him goes over the log and doesn't see him.
Oh, that's really smart. I'll give you inspiration for that, actually. That's a really smart idea. I think you just do it. You see a big fallen dead log and you jump over it and you duck. And you're like hoping to see like the shadow of like a beast or something like go over. But you don't see anything. And just wait there for like a moment, right? Nothing.
Feeling go away?
Are you trying to like sense like footsteps or like hear like panting or anything like that?
Do I still feel like I'm being followed?
Silence. You're not sure. Right,
Okay.
because your back's against the log, it's hard to tell anymore. There's no open path behind you from which you can sort of like, your intuition can kick in. But you do notice a buzzing. Bzzz. You turn and you see a dragonfly. Just sort of like fly over the log, like a little blue dragonfly with like a crystalline body. And a bzzz, 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 just sort of floats by your face and doesn't seem to... It's odd. It's almost like it's looking at you, but it's a dragonfly. What do you do?
I'm gonna get up very carefully and like move around it. Like don't get up and stand, move forward. Like around.
As you get up, it gets up too, like following your eye level, maybe 5 feet away from you. As you start to get around it it seems to like follow behind you. Like it
I
seems to
swat
want
at
to
it.
look at you. Okay, make an attack roll.
Oh God. So I got a natural 1.
Okay, would you like to keep it for inspiration, or would you like to reroll?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it. It's
Okay,
a nat 1. I gotta keep it.
I'll give you a point of inspiration. You swat
Thanks.
at it, right? But it floats out of the way, and as your wing goes past, right? You hear the dragonfly say to you, "A long time no see, Dewey." And a hand shoots out of the dragonfly's abdomen and grabs you, right? And then another hand sort of spaghettis out of the other side, and the dragonfly elongates, almost like a cartoon. It gets big and then shimmers, taking the form of a dog-headed man. The Myriad, a demon emissary of Sen, who has been sent by the URL to kill you, whom you've struck a deal with and have evaded for 2 arcs. But now the Myriad's snarling, toothy grin is like right up in your face, right? And like his hand is like wrapped around your feathery wrist, you know? And like his eyes are glowing red, almost with like anticipation. And he smells the way he always does, this weird shifting combination of like decay, rot, and blood. Long time no see, Dewey.
Dewey screams as loud as he can. And hold on, let me find the thing. And then he's going to reach out and try and grab the Myriad's face. And as he does that, his armor activates and it shocks the Myriad if he's actually there.
Okay, how does that work? Is that an attack roll?
You wrote it. Yeah, one. It's an attack roll 1d8 damage.
Okay, make another attack roll.
Oh, jeez. I'm gonna use that inspiration.
Sounds
I
good.
rolled
You've
a
got 2
2.
left.
The 17.
Okay, 17 is not quite gonna hit the Myriad. Would you like to try to use another one or take like a mixed success?
Take a mix success.
Okay, so roll damage as usual, but the Myriad gets a reaction.
Okay, 1d8. 1d8, that's it. Okay. 5.
5 points of
thunder damage.
thunder, okay. Does anything else happen? Like, does he get paralyzed or anything knocked back, or is it just sort of like zzz?
Creature hit by the gauntlet has disadvantage on attack rolls against other targets. Okay, never mind.
So it's fine against you. Okay. You say you grab his face? That was an interesting choice of words. Are you wrapping your feathered fingers around his snout?
I think that yeah, that's how it activates. Like when my fingers curl, it exposes some sort of electrical.
Like a muzzle, right? Like, and like yellow electricity crackles like in front of the Myriad's glossy black eyes, right? And he goes as he's like electrocuted, right? But his hand stays fast on your wrist, you know. And he doesn't, you know, you let go, and like let's say like some smoke curls off of like his snout, but that smile just seems to wrap even like higher up, almost like going all the way up to his temples. And you just see like these toothy grins, like stalactites and stalagmites at a cave entrance, right? And he just smiles at you. And he says, "That's a cool new trick he learned, Dewey, but it's not gonna be enough. You can't always outrun your problems, Cardew. But this time, I'm not gonna kill you fast. I'm gonna play with you first." Uh-oh. And he lets go of your wrist, which you realize is the wrist that your watch is strapped to. And then you hear a tick, tick, tick as your bomb watch activates and begins counting down. And then we are going to cut to Manaia and V on the back of Big Papa. Manaia, you are driving Big Papa toward where you saw Nolly, right? Okay. Sounds good. Big Papa begins to like like run like through very powerfully through the underbrush. And V, I think, how are you doing, V? Do you lift your head? Are you trying to drive Big Papa like Mania told you?
So I think as speed increases and the galloping increases, the arrow in the leg starts hurting a lot with each bounce. So I think V is going to take one hand off and try to get it out and realize it's really hard. It's in there deep. So she's taking both hands trying to get it out, and she pops it out. And maybe just as maybe the horse jumps or something, and we'll see what happens from there.
Okay, I need you to make an animal handling check to stay on Big Papa with disadvantage. I told you he was gonna come back to bite you because he fucking hates you.
Oh, with disadvantage, I just rolled an 18, my first good roll of the day. Hey, 15. That's not bad.
Okay, I'll give you a hard choice.
All right.
One is that you stay on, but the arrow gets real fucked up during the jostle, right? And something worse happens to your wound, or you fall off.
In that case, I'm gonna fall off.
Okay, sounds good.
Imagine those options.
Okay, Big Papa goes up over like a dead log, let's say, and Manaia, V just falls off. You know, V just like slips off of Big Papa and hits the ground and starts rolling as Big Papa lands on the other side of the log and keeps going, even like seems happy that V's gone, tosses like his head magnificently and lets out a of happiness and joy. Manaia, what do? Do you stop and try to go back for V, or do you keep going?
Erica, I'm sorry. I think the vision of Manaia's mother, somehow alive, plus the Princess of Leaves, emissary of Sen, princess of trickery, wouldn't be deceived by something like the Carnival, right? And even though the vision is done, it still flickers over her, like in her vision, as she bows her head and rides on.
Okay. And you hear the princess go, "Oh, well, it's okay. We'll come back for her, okay? We'll come back for her. She'll be fine."
Mom, I'm coming. I'm so close.
Nolly, we'll be there in just a moment. How did you get all the way over here? As you continue, to ride, right? Ooh, who should I go to next? Ooh. Oh boy, let's go to Oka. Okay. Oka, you've fallen, you've landed, there's people running all around you, your friends have left you, Dewey is somewhere unknown. What do you do?
I think Oka kind of like, that's still stumbling, kind of like runs over to where their elk had fallen down, and I think maybe its knees are a little fucked up. And Oka kind of gets down and tries to ward off anyone rushing by from running them down as they try to help pulling on the bridle to help the elk up. But I think it probably is limping a little bit, it's not rideable anymore, I think. And Oka sees that very, very quickly and tries to pull the elk into the underbrush a little bit more, out of this main path that people have been tromping down.
As you and the elk wiggling, on its back, are able to pull the elk to relative safety, not in the exact path of getting trampled. And as you do, the sword vibrates even more, rattles really violently, almost like it wants to leave you, right? It wants to cut its way out of the scabbard and hurt you, and you feel the voice in your head again, even though even though you're not touching the hilt, go, They're close. Bring me to them. Now.
I said, stop it. We're acting with temperance for once, trying to do something together. Leave me alone.
Ha! You deign to lecture me about temperance? You are nothing. You are not worthy. And now I finally sensed another worthy wielder. You will bring me to them.
I will not.
And as you are arguing out loud with your sword, right? I think this is a good opportunity for me to introduce something to the four of you. Because we are fully in the carnival. Oka, as you stand there arguing with this sword that demands to be brought to someone more worthy than you. Dewey, as your bomb watch begins ticking down with the myriad grinning at you. V, as you're curled up in the underbrush next to a fallen log, your head swirling with images of Sievert standing in the woods, watching you. And Manaia, as you run frantically through the woods on the back of Big Papa, with the Princess of Leaves frenetic inside you, trying to find your dead mother. I want each of you to take out a pencil if you have one, and draw 5 boxes on your character sheet.
Uh-oh, we're in danger.
And as you're drawing these,
I'm in danger.
I'm going to explain what they are. These are your 5 risk boxes. They signify how well your character is tolerating the effects of the carnival. So whenever your character does something risky, foolish, or impulsive, you can choose to mark any number of risk boxes. Likewise, you can choose to mark any number of risk boxes when something happens to your character that is powerful, intense, or traumatic. When you mark your 5th risk box, that means your character is taken by the carnival. You'll tell me what that looks like and what that means to your character. And I want to make it really clear that these risk boxes belong to you and they can only be marked by you. So I, as a GM, might ask you, would you like to mark a risk box in that situation? It seems pretty intense, but you can always say no. And you can always choose to mark even if I don't ask. The number that you mark every time you mark is also up to you. Could just be 1 box, could be all 5, right, in one go. Depending on the intensity of the situation, but how you interpret that is always up to you. Do y'all have any questions about risk boxes?
Do we unmark them at any point? Like,
That's a good question. You can, if it makes sense in the fiction.
So just digging our own graves here then.
Yes. There's no, like, mechanical benefit. Like, if you mark one, you get a advantage on your next roll or anything like that. This is more so, like, so you can keep track of how well your PC's doing. So I'm going to ask y'all, at this exact moment, how many risk boxes do each of you have marked? And 0 is an acceptable answer if you feel like you haven't been pushed that far yet.
I feel like Oka either is at 1 or is about to be at 1 because the sword, it's like getting to them a little bit, you know, that the sword keeps insisting that they're like not good enough and is like distracting them from what they need to do. I think they're like almost at the point of having marked a box because of that.
Okay, let's zoom in on Oka then now, as the rest of you think about it. Oka, as you're bickering with the sword, it lets out a You impudent child, you know nothing of responsibility. The least you can do is take me to someone who does.
I have been dealing with the responsibilities of one mistake for the last 7 years. Don't fucking lecture me.
You, whether I like it or not, are the Emperor's flesh and blood. You cannot have anything less than perfection.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good point to mark a box, probably.
Okay, sounds good. Oka, as this magical sword that's been passed through your family for generations rejects you and says that it hates you. Yeah, you mark a risk box. How are you taking it? How do those words sting you?
I mean, they're pretty clear. The knowledge that no matter how hard they try now, they'll still never be perfect. That stings. And I think it stings so much that they're like, fuck it. I don't fucking want this thing anyway. And they start to tromp. They like turn in the direction that they can feel Kane is in / the sword wants to take them to. And they start going in that, and they like push through the underbrush. They like ground tie the elk.
Okay, yeah. The elk's basically like, I'll chill here, please don't take me with you. As you move through the underbrush, stomping in anger, right? And as you finally obey what the sword wants you to do, it falls silent. And it stops vibrating, but it still is kind of hot against your back, almost like it's thrumming in anticipation of this wielder that you can't be. And as you make your way through the woods, Oko, why don't you pass the spotlight to someone else?
I want to go to V.
All right. I feel like because V sort of ignored Sievert for the most part, like I feel like she hasn't taken a risky box yet.
Sounds good. So what are you doing? Are you like picking yourself off the ground? Like getting your bearings?
Yeah, I'm trying to have some semblance of where she is, and like after a few moments, realizing she's probably just gonna have to pick a direction and start walking. She's actually gonna cast Disguise Self to look like Sievert as she walks through the forest.
I love that. You pick yourself up, like grimacing and limping, right, because of the arrow lodged in your leg, and you turn into Sievert. You're also disguising the arrow in your leg, right, as Sievert? Oh, you pulled it out, right?
Yeah, I pulled it out.
Okay. But you're trying your best not to like limp, I'm assuming.
There's still probably a bit of a limp as I'm walking through.
Would you like to try to track one of your teammates and go toward them?
I'd almost like to do like an Arcana check and like feel if there's like a direction that feels good to go.
Yeah, go for it.
All
Tap into the weave and see what magic is telling you to do.
God, I still have two. Okay, I'm gonna use a personal inspiration. I'm just rolling like crap today. All right, well, I'll take. Let's see, that's 13.
Yes. You take a moment to center yourself, pulling at the threads of the weave, and one of the threads pulls back. It comes in the form of a smell. Really delicious smell, actually. A smell from your childhood, of food that even, in the caves that you grew up in with your mother, did bring you some small measure of comfort against the cold. What is it?
I'm gonna say it's like a particular kind of stew that my mother would make on, particularly like if it was a colder day or, just like a miserable day, something that just warmed up the insides and made you feel good inside.
Okay, like some sort of delicious meat stew. It smells almost exactly like how your mother used to make it, right? And it feels like its scent also almost feels like magically compelling as well. It's not just stew. There's something arcane here at work. Do you follow the smell?
I think V is gonna look around the forest one more time in all the possible paths and just be like, well, this direction is as good as any, and yeah, follows the direction of the smell.
Okay. You walk and you walk and you walk, and the smell gets stronger and stronger, and eventually you part like a wall of ferns, right, to enter a small clearing where you see someone sitting in front of a low fire, right, where there's like they've erected some sort of like stew pot where like a little like pot is like hanging above like an arch of like twigs, and they're like roasting stew, right? And their side profile is to you, and when you step through, they look up kind of like in alarm, and you see a very handsome half elf, sort of like with like an undercut, and they've got like blue hair sort of swept back, and these like big like amber eyes, and they sort of blink. They're like in leather armor, and they stand up. They go, "Oh, I'm sorry, are you real or are you fake? I can't really tell anymore."
In the best Sievert voice, oh yeah, I'm definitely a real. Or how about yourself? Are you real, or is this just an imagination thing again?
I'd like to think I'm real. Well, I must have gotten lost. I've been here for days now. Are you hungry? Do you want some? My mother taught me how to make this.
Interesting. The recipe smells very familiar to me.
Really?
Where does your family come from?
Why don't you have a seat? And this person gestures for like a stump that's like right across from where they are.
He looks around and just thinks, This is the worst. Inside her head is like, this is the worst idea ever. And she hobbles over a little bit and sits on the stump.
This person spoons you a bowl of like nice hot soup, right? And they hand it to you. Do you take it?
Sure.
You look down at it, and it's your mom's soup. Like, down to, like, how she used to cut up the potatoes in a particular way. You know, with, like, a wooden spoon next to it. They hand it to you. They say, I'm sorry, I didn't even get your name. I'm Ekoff. And you are?
Oh, my name is Sievert.
Sievert. That's a pretty name. Who gave it to you?
Oh, you know, I guess the parents.
Ekoff laughs like you just said a really funny joke and says, please, eat. I caught a deer like half a day ago, and it's been just feeding me well.
V is gonna act like getting ready to take a bite, and like every time it gets close, be like, so what brings you to this part of the forest? That, you know, there's a championship going on. You said you've been here for a few days?
Wait, what do you mean a championship's going on? The championship's not due for weeks.
Oh.
I just sort of came in here to scout ahead.
Well, it's happening as we speak. Everybody's in here looking for the carnival.
You're pulling my leg. No. This is a joke, right? You're a funny guy, I can tell.
Well, you know, if it wasn't so important, I would probably be lying to you right now, but you know what? I have a device that tells the truth in my bag.
Okay.
And Sievert sort of out of a pouch pulls out the diadem. I mean, do you want to try it? Like, you put it on and say something that you think would be a lie or something, and see what it does. That way you know it's working before I put it on.
Do you mind demonstrating first? I don't know. I mean, how do I know you're not gonna like?
But how do you know if I'm telling a lie unless it's like you have to try it first, because you would know if it's a lie or not, whatever you say.
Okay.
I could be we're strangers. I could say anything and it could be a lie if it's not a real magical item.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. Do I just put it on?
Yeah, go ahead. Just put it on your head there.
Okay. Ekoff takes it from you and puts it carefully on their head. Is it working?
Well,
V, why don't you make
let's
an
see.
Arcana check on the tiara,
Sure.
on the diadem?
15.
Okay, 15. Yeah, as it passes from your hands, the diadem still thrums with the same magical energy that you're used to, right? As Ekoff takes it from you, so everything seems to be in working order, and they place it on their crown.
I guess the question I would ask is, how long have you actually been in this forest?
Well, as far as I can tell, it's been a few weeks. I honestly don't know how many.
Interesting. But early, okay.
I'm sorry. I need a recon. They say a few days.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, it's been a few days, but I don't know. Time's so weird here.
Well, seems as if you're telling the truth. See, it's working.
Oh, is it?
Unless-
I don't feel any
unless I-
different.
Well, let's think of something that's an obvious lie. Let's is the fire burning right? Try to tell me that the fire has been put out underneath this food.
Okay, the fire has not been put out. Oh, whoops. The fire has not been put out. I can't say it. The fire the fire is still
Awesome.
burning.
Well, there we go. See, it works. This is great. I love it. See, you can take it off now, and no harm, no foul.
You're a weird one. Ekoff takes it down and hands it back to you. All right, now you do it.
All right.
All right.
V-
This is like the world's weirdest first date.
This. And all of a sudden gets very shy. Okay, sure, let's go. V puts it on.
What's your name?
Vasante.
Okay, you're trying to resist. What? Visante, that's a beautiful name.
You're, you know, my mother gave it to me.
I'm sorry. I need a
Wait,
minute.
lore dropped so hard that your GM is also in shock
GM.exe
silence.
just stopped working.
What does it mean?
Oh, it means like pure, like pure light.
Oh, is it because you're a white dragonborn?
How did you know that?
Well, it's
And V actually like takes off the crown at that point.
because you. I'm sorry, I don't mean to assume, but you look like a white dragonborn.
And then V realizes she looks like Sievert. Oh God.
Did I say something wrong?
No. I think the diadem was just working a little too well for me. And V just finally drops disguise self and reveals
Whoa.
herself.
Oh my God! What? But how?
Surprise! Look at it. This forest does all sorts of things.
Visante, is that still you?
Yes, it is. I mean, I wasn't lying when I had the diadem on, so it's me.
Oh wow! I'm sorry. I mean, the woods must have made you look like a white dragonborn to me. But now you look like an elf.
Well, I was a little shocked because my father is a white dragon, so I was a little I'm a little jumpy in this forest. Okay, it's strange things have been happening in this forest.
Wait. Let's go back to the part that your dad's but they're extinct. What do you mean he's? Oh, hold on. Wait, I think I just heard a snap trigger. I laid out a snare for a rabbit. I'll be right back. Just hold on to that thought.
Okay. And
But
while they're
Mhm.
like V's considering the food and back, he seems like an all right elf and maybe takes a bite.
Okay, take a bite. Ekaf gets up to go, but on their way out, they're like moving past you. They like place a hand on your shoulder and they say, "Hey, this might be kind of awkward, but Visante, thanks for keeping me company. I really thought I was gonna go a little, a little unhinged, a little stir crazy without anyone really to talk to except for these illusions and images. So, thanks for keeping me company. I really appreciate it."
This is my pleasure. It's a very rewarding find here in the forest.
All right, well, enjoy the stew. I'll be right back with some fresh rabbit. And Ekaf walks off. And maybe on Ekaf walking off, quick check-in with my players out of character. We are 30 past when we usually end. Gauging energy levels, how are we?
It's in live chatter, but yes, we're good, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I would love to maybe like do like a few more of like these scenes with the rest of you. Maybe like end on something like juicy. Like, so how do we feel about taking a quick like break right now? Maybe like another 10-minute break and like coming back to finish it off? Or how are we feeling?
Do a 10-minute break.
Good.
Yeah, Max?
I could do like a 5-er.
That might be better.
Okay, yeah, let's do a 5-minute break instead of a 10. Okay, in that case, we'll be back at 6:30, perfect, on the dot, with the conclusion to this Carnival episode. We will see you in 5. Love you all so much. Go grab some food. Peace.
learned this from a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing. I learned to swallow light, to illuminate my darkness. I learned to feel love when I look upon my dark things. I learned this from a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing. I learned to swallow light, to illuminate my darkness. I learned to feel love when I look upon my dark things. I learned this from a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dance.
Hello, 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 everybody. It's so good to see all of your digital non-existent faces in the chat yet again. We are back. Quick rehash of content warnings for everybody. So content warnings for this episode and for the arc of the Carnival in general include disreality, ultraviolence, gore, body horror, time slippage, hallucinations, human sacrifice, natural disasters, alcohol and substance use, addiction, death of loved ones, memory loss, emotional trauma and baggage, self-destructive behavior, bloodletting, cults and cult-like behavior, and anxiety and panic attacks described in detail. So as a reminder, you can use !CW in chat anytime to pull up a list of these content warnings and triggers, so please take care of yourself the way you have to. And with that out of the way, let's hop right back into it with V. As Ekoff moves past you, you eat the stew? How do you spend your time waiting for Ekoff?
I'm gonna be eating it, and you know what? I think V is. I just want to like look around. Like, does it seem like this is a place that he's genuinely been in for like weeks? Is there like, has he built some type of support structures or shelters or?
Totally, yeah. As you look up, right, and like look to your left, let's say, like just glancing around, you see a small tent, right? That it appears that they've been living out of, you know, for like, it looks like it's been lived in like for maybe like a few days or whatnot, like a one-person camping tent, right? And then you look to your right, and you see bunting, which if you don't know what that is, it's like a streamer, like colorful flags strung together on a string. And the bunting is, I don't know how you didn't notice this before, V. It's tied toward the top of like a tree. And as you follow like the colorful flags, you're like, what? You like follow it back over to your left, where you see their tent again, except it's bigger, significantly bigger, perhaps big enough to fit 10 people inside. And it's no longer like a camping tent. It's got like circus-like stripes coming down from it, right? And you see people walking past it. Specifically, you see a person on like a unicycle sort of like go in and sort of like and like paint and makeup, and they seem to be juggling balls. And you see like two like kids nearby like watching and laughing and like tossing coins at this like juggler on a unicycle. And you look back around and you see more people like gathered nearby, like eating kebabs, meat skewers, bao, etc., and talking to each other. You see, like, particularly, there's like a line of people now, maybe like 15 feet away from you, like past like the bush, the wall of ferns that you pushed through to get here in the first place, lined up in front of what appears to be a kissing booth of sorts. But instead of like paying coin to like kiss someone behind the booth, because that's creepy and I don't want to do that, it's like they pay to like couples pay to get behind the booth and like get a picture of themselves drawn kissing. And you're like, I'm just gonna leave you at that for half a second to give you a chance to react. What do you do?
V is going to spill the rest of the stew onto the ground, stand up, and try to not look like in a panic, but maybe try to look for a potential exit out of here that isn't that tent.
As you stand up abruptly and drop the stew, someone puts a hand on your shoulder. And it's a human man with like a twirly mustache, you know, and like a little hat like on his head. And he's dressed really nicely, like he's like an MC or an announcer or something, right? And he's got like a little silver wand on. He puts a gloved hand on your shoulder. He goes, "Oh, excuse me, Visanti, but you do have to sit the entire event through. That's what the contract said. Please have a seat again." And as this man gestures to where you were sitting, you see that the fire has been replaced by a long table, like a real long table. Think like Viking feast, right? And on one side of the table, there's an empty seat that you just stood up from, and there are people sat next to you, like all the way down to your left and all the way down to your right. And there are seats lined up in front of you as well, all the way down to your left, all the way down to your right. Of other people, they're like sat across from each other in like pairs, like couples like talking. Right? And the seat in front of you is empty, where Ekoff would have sat, right? And you see that words have appeared on the flags. In common, they actually in Jukan, your native tongue, they spell speed dating. And this human man goes, "Please have a seat. Please sit back down. You have to see this through. We can't be one person out."
First off, I have checked a box. V is going to go ahead and sit back down while thinking rapidly about what she is going to do next. I have an idea, but I want to see where this goes for a little bit longer.
Okay, as you sit down, like, what the fuck is happening? Ekoff slides into frame and sits back down in front of you and is no longer in, like, leather armor, but is in, like, a nice dress, right? And, like, they've got makeup on, you know? And they just say to you, "Hi, sorry, I just had to use the bathroom. So sorry that I left in the middle of our conversation. I was thinking," and then there's a ding as the human man walks away from you and, like, taps his wand against the air. And everyone on Ekoff's side gets up and starts to move over one seat, right? And Ekoff goes, you know, Vasanti, don't worry about sending me a message. I just don't know if this is going to work out. I'm sorry. I need someone who's a little bit more, in touch with herself.
Oh,
Moves. Yep. How do you respond?
Well, you know, your food wasn't that good either. Okay. Oh crap. I think the time has come. V is going to hold on. I gotta look at. I've got to do some sorcery point magic right now. So I need to use 6 sorcery points to make a 4th level spell slot so I can use Dimension Door, and I'm gonna just 500 feet out of there.
Okay. What direction are you going in?
I will, whatever direction I came from, I want to keep going in that direction.
Okay. You Dimension Door, the world whisks away from you, and you Dimension Door right into a seat. As the line moves down, and you're now on the other side of the speed dating profile, right? You're now on the side of people who move. And you sit down in front of, dressed to the nines, in his best suit and tie, with, like, his scales polished to, like, a nice sheen, Sievert Wrathstone. Hi there, I'm Sievert, and you are?
Oh, you can just call me Victoria.
And on that, V, we are going to cut to, you decide. Who are we going to?
Oh, we gotta do some Mania action.
Okay, it's time for some Mania action. Mania, galloping through the woods, trying to find Nolly. What's going through your head as, like, both you and the princess are, like, frantic?
The 2 boxes I just marked are going through my head. One for each party member she's left behind.
Oh boy. Okay, you have 3 left? Okay.
I do. She's, for the first time in a long time, not conflicted about what she wants to do. She's very, very focused on just going forward. She wants to see her mother again. She wants to see her again well and not sick in a bed. And there's a small part of her soul tugging at the back of her ribs, maybe, towards her party, towards her real friends and family, really, that she's been traveling with for a few months, for these 4 or 5 months. But the thought that she could see Mum again is too much.
Okay. Yeah, so many things are going through your head. You're like, I gotta chase this white rabbit, right? And as you gallop and gallop and gallop, I have a question to ask you. Does Manaia notice the forest changing around her? as colorful streamers begin to appear very subtly at first, just in the canopies, right? And like occasionally a tree seems colorful, right? But the changes become more and more obvious, right? As you see, just like V, like colorful bunting being strung like between branches. You even see in like the near distance, like colorful circus tents, like popping up, and the smell of like fried and grilled foods begins to greet your noses.
I think Mania is so focused on trying to remember the princess's vision, and maybe she's like bringing it back to the surface of her mind, or the princesses, maybe, and focusing on her surroundings, but only the landmarks that will lead her to her mum, and maybe her memory of those visions changes to reflect the changes in the forest. So her thought is not that it used to be a rock and now it's like a fried potato stand, so much as the landmark is a fried potato stand now. And I mean, when I see that, I need to turn left or whatever.
Totally. You're like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm just gonna count it. And then you begin to pass a line of people. Right, you're galloping past them. They all seem to be lined up in the middle of the woods, but as you gallop closer and closer to like whatever they're lined up for, like all sorts of people, adults, kids, couples, older folk, they all seem eager and a little annoyed that they're stuck in line, right? The forest seems to peel away. Fewer trees, less greenery, fewer ferns, fewer vines, and more so like tents and booths, right? And a clearing and like a candy stand, right? And like a fried fish cake stand, etc. Until all of that falls away to reveal what these people are lined up for. A magnificent roller coaster. Made of wood and steel, some sort of beautiful entity that you may have only seen in like fun palaces in Uhanahi, given like how technologically advanced this coaster is. You see it's got whirls, it's got a loop-de-loop, it's got like a big drop for like the big finale at the end, etc. And the tracks are gleaming white, right? And written in Wuhan on like a big glowing sign is Angel's Choice Coaster. As you gallop past these people, you see that the admissions area is closed down. And there is like a sign that says requirements to ride. Like you have to be this tall to ride, right? And there's only one requirement, right? And it's a heart. And written in Wuhan is your heart must be pure. And as you're riding on Big Papa, you see that the person sort of like apologizing to people who don't fit the requirement, who can't make the ride. Napua. Your father, dressed in his best robes, right? Like very, very nice robes. With his hair all done, his like face is scrubbed clean, his little iridescent scales are glimmering. And he's telling like a very irate woman at the front, like, I'm so sorry, ma'am, but we checked and it's just not quite pure enough. What do you do?
So Napua is checking people in.
Yes, your father. Technically is rejecting people. They're not,
right,
don't meet the requirement, yeah.
At this, I think Mania pulls at the reins probably a lot harder than Big Papa would like.
Yeah, Big Papa lets out an annoyed snort.
And she just jumps off and books it past all the people in the line.
Yeah, so people are like, hey, you can't cut! All in Wuhan, like cursing at you as you like run past them, but you ignore them. What do? You go up to Napua?
Yes.
Okay. As you run up, he turns away from the woman that he was like trying to turn away. It goes, up, Manaia!
Father, I'm so glad I found you. Mom's here. I'm trying to find her. Have you seen her?
Well, of course she is. She's right in... I'm so glad you're here too. You know what? Hey, everyone... Quiet down here. This is what you gotta do to ride the Angel's Choice, okay? This is a true exemplar. And Napua pats you on the back. Isn't that right, daughter? Your heart's still strong? Still pure?
Always.
Well, there's just a small test, but I'm sure you'll pass it. Come on. And he walks over to like a gate, like a wrought iron gate that's set up, right? If you can push open these gates, you're worthy. No one else here can. thieves, scoundrels, liars, etc. Even some murderers in this line, mind you. You should go to the other line, all of y'all. They're like, no, but we want to ride. Other lines for you. Just, come on, try opening up the gates.
But, Mom, she's...
Oh, yeah, your mom's... Where, I mean, they're... Honey, don't you remember? They're operating the... Or did we forget to brief you? Ooh, shoot, that might have been my job. Sorry. I was so busy setting this up, I must have forgotten to send you a message. Kahialani and Nalia are inside. Do you want to go say hi?
I'd love to.
We'll just push open the gates.
I think Mania strides up to the gates, and if I might take over a little bit,
Go for it.
she strides up to the gate, strong, powerful, standing tall. She's pure of heart. She's done good for the world, and she has no regrets in her life. And she's reaching out and down to open this gate. But as she steps forward, the gate gets taller and taller. But it isn't that the gate gets getting taller, it's Mania getting smaller. As she is now 5 years old,
Ooh.
hoping she's tall enough to get on the roller coaster. And she makes it to the gate, and with a confident push with her hand against the gate.
And the gate opens. So easily. Like it's made of feathers, not iron, right? And you, child Mania, you push it open. Good
Yes,
job,
yes,
Mania!
yes!
You got it!
Does that mean I get to ride?
You sure do! Right in the front, too. The best seats in the house.
Yes! Oh, I've been in the front before.
Here, why don't you get on my shoulders? I'll bring you over. Your mom and your mom want to say hi.
Of course, of course.
And Napua stoops down and lets you get on his shoulders. And the other people in the line go, hey, what about us? Let us in. Napua sticks out his tongue. Sorry, not good
Mania
enough.
does the same.
Yeah. And you rush past the gates as the gates close and the people swarm against it, but they can't open it. They're like banging against it like, hey, let us in, let us in. But Napua's like, ha. Obviously, we're not just going to let anyone on this ride. It's only for the bestest of bestest people. Isn't that right, Mania?
Mm-hmm. And that's me.
All right, let's go up these stairs here. And Napua goes up like the stairs to get onto the coaster, right? Where you see, waiting at the top of these wooden stairs, Kaheilani, your mother. And she's also dressed in like really nice robes, right? And like a little like attendance cap, right? Like a sailor's like hat to indicate that she's like in charge of like, she's like one of the operators of the ride. She goes, there you are, Mania. You're late again.
Sorry, Mother. I was playing with Father at the gate.
All right, that's okay. Nothing wrong with a little bit of playtime. Are you ready?
Yes.
How fast do you want it to go? Do you want it to go fast, really fast, or super fast?
Super fast, super fast, super fast.
Super fast. Okay, 3 seconds then. And she turns a dial that says fast. It's very fast and super fast. And she turns it all the way to super fast. All right. Are you big and strong enough to ride alone, or do you want Papa with you?
Mania, I think she lets go of her father's shoulders, or her father's head actually, because she's riding on his shoulders, and like does a powerful pose and like stumbles back a little bit and goes, no, I'm strong, just like you, Mom.
That's right. All right. And Kaheilani reaches and plucks you off like you're nothing but like a tiny little potato and places you into like the front seat of a coaster that can seat like multiple people, but you're the only one riding it. And she like straps you in lovingly. She puts down the safety bar. She like straps in the seatbelt, you know, and you're at the top of like what's going to be like up to an incline, like the first drop of many, right? And she goes, just remember, keep your hands and your feet inside the ride at all times. No standing up, okay?
Right. Wait,
all right.
Where's Mom?
And that lever over there. And Kaheilani indicates, interestingly enough, like a lever on the ride. That's sort of like sticking out of the ground right in front of where like your little 5-year-old hands can grab, right? If you want to change direction, just pull that lever, okay? Because this is the angel's choice, right? You get to choose where you go. All right. Ready?
Ready.
Let's go! And Kaheilani and Napua.
Oh, good.
Yep.
And we're off.
But yep, you go off. Presses a button and the ride peels off and it starts going up an incline, right? And then you can hear Kaheilani's voice over like these like magical stones, right, that are mounted at intervals by like wooden poles. The equivalent like fantasy speakers, right? Of like the ride audio, right? It's like, all right, here comes our first drop. Are you ready, Manaia? Are you ready?
Mother, I think I forgot something.
What'd you forget? A juice box, maybe? Your snacks? We've got it all back here at the dock, and we can ride this as many times as you want.
Oh, nothing. I'm ready.
All right. Ooh, you're so high up. You stop at the
Just
top
mark
of the
another
peak.
box.
Okay, sounds good. You're at 3 now.
3.
Perfect. You're at the top of the apex, right? Of the first drop, it's not the biggest one, looking down, right? And you see that at the very bottom of the drop, the track seems to split in half. Like, you can choose, like, which track you want to go on, right? You can either stay on the one that you're headed or, like, divert and go to the other track. But there seems to be something on the tracks. And let's go! And the coaster goes down. Whee! And as you get closer and closer, you realize what's on the tracks. The track that you're currently on has 5 people strapped to the tracks. And on the other track is 1 person. All 6 of them are strangers. And all 6 of them are like, bound and gagged, like classic villain style, you know, like to a railway track. And they're like, they're like kicking and thrashing as you go down. And you hear like very quickly, like over like the speakers, all right, Manaia, if you want to go to the other one, go just kill the 1 person. You gotta pull them over. 3 seconds.
This isn't real. Mother, where am I? Is that 1 second? I'm just waiting for you to like keep ticking down.
1 second.
Manaia is like frantically pulling at the belt buckle that is now way too small for her with her 7.5 foot tall body.
2 seconds.
She fumbles some more. She lifts the bar up. That's easy. And she starts like pulling at the belt.
3 seconds. And the coaster, you don't see anything, right? But you do feel the coaster rattle as it goes over 5 bodies. And you hear like a horrible screams cut off by like the whee of like the coaster. And you hear Kaheilani and Apua over like the stones go, ooh, all right, that was a hard one, but that's okay. All right, it's a hard choice, but only you can do it, Manaia. Pure of heart, right?
No, I can't. And we'll cut for there.
Okay. Who are we cutting to, Manaia?
I think there's only 1 person left. Mr. Cardew Quirk.
Connie, you're a fucking sadist.
Oh yeah.
All right, Mr. Cardew Quirk. Your bomb watch ticks down. And the myriad says, better run.
From
What do you do?
I grab onto his face again.
Okay. Oh, you're finally choosing to stay and fight then. Gonna shock me to death? Bring me down with you? What if I told you it didn't have to be that way, Dewey? What if I told you I could fix it for you?
What are you talking about?
The watch, silly. Don't you want me to get it off? Do you really believe that an all-powerful, nigh-immortal, demonic being couldn't get rid of a simple watch if I didn't want to?
What do you want from me?
It's quite simple. I want you to walk with me.
Where are we going?
We're going somewhere you left behind a long, long time ago. And as the myriad speaks, he begins to walk like backwards, slowly, like deeper into the woods. While your hands are still on him, do you follow?
Yeah, with some hesitation.
Okay. You follow the myriad, and as he continues to walk backward, he says, "How many people do you trust with your life story, Dewey? How many hearts are you gonna break with your callous attitude? How many secrets are you gonna keep until it rises up into your throat like bile and chokes you?" And as he speaks, the forest seems to peel away, right? Like the deeper you go into the forest, like flakes coming off of an oil painting, the greenery of the woods give way to the inside of a circus tent. It's like you're stepping into like a television screen, right? And like you're no longer in the woods, but you're inside like an interior space. You see like these like canvas walls like rise up around you, you know, as you're fixated on the myriad's face. But even as you turn and look, you see these walls come up, right? And you see like a massive like ceiling, like a draping domed ceiling going up. And you can see like stripes that are sort of like dimly lit from the outside, right? So you know it's painted on the outside, and you hear people like talking and murmuring, right, and chattering as you realize you're walking between two raised wooden bleachers, right? And maybe let's say like you turn around to see like the forest, but instead of the forest, it sort of fades away to show like a tent flap that you came in from, and there's people around. Like this is sort of like one of the big tops in like a circus, but not like super big, but one of them, right? So this isn't like the main big top, but a place where smaller performances might occur. And lining the interior of the big top are just rows upon rows of people sitting, watching, like talking, like excitedly. You know, some of them have like big, like bags of popcorn, kettle corn. You know, some of them are like eating kebabs. Some of them have like bowls of rice that they're scooping into their mouths and like taking from like little tables they've set up. Dinner and a show, right? And there is just like an empty ring in the middle. And as you look back at the myriad, you realize that he is wearing like a ringleader's like outfit, like an ostentatious, all sequins and sparkles, right? And his like, the myriad's like teeth are all like sparkly, like he's just washed them, you know? And he continues walking backwards. And he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Aarakocra and non-Aarakocra, people who know Cardew and people who don't know Cardew, welcome to The Great Escape. I present to you your star of tonight's show, Cardew Quirk," as he's leading you into like the center of the ring, and people begin to clap and cheer. A pause there. What do you do?
At this, Dewey realize that he's like, circus, and he tries to walk backwards through the flap that he came through.
Okay, you do. The myriad's form gets smaller and smaller. You walk backwards through the flap. You feel the canvas like flap against you. And as you walk past it, you see like the outside, the exterior of the flap that you just walked past. And then you see like walls, canvas walls rising around you. And you bump, like your ankles trip against something. And I need you to make just like a quick dex save to see if you stay on your feet.
Net 20, baby.
Okay, you don't fall, but you do stumble over what you realize is sort of like the raised platform of the main stage. And as you whip your head around, you realize you're back in the tent. But you came in from like the other side, right? And it's very much reminding you of that strange liminal space, the back room of where you first encountered the myriad again, right? But all around you, the bleachers are rising, but you're walking backwards now, looking at all these faces that are all like, ooh, gleeful and like waiting for this beautiful show. And the myriad from behind you, standing in the center of the ring, says, "There's no escape from your failures, Dewey. Come on, give the people a show."
Dewey steps onto the stage, I guess.
Okay. Do you turn to face the myriad because you were walking backwards?
Yes.
You turn to face him, and he gestures to his left, where you realize there has appeared a trunk like a metal trunk that's open. And inside you see all sorts of tools, like beautiful high quality tools that you only really had access to at the URL, as well as a workbench and several like furnaces and like high tech like materials, right? Like this shit's like pretty legit. Mir says, to your left, you will have all you need to disassemble that bomb strapped to your wrist and fly out of here a free man. Questions so far?
I turn and look at the other side.
Ah, very smart. And to your right, and you see what has appeared now. Hanging from a string, a rope, suspended from the very top of this big top, is a large bird cage. And inside this bird cage are Ualani, Hana, and your friends. Oka, Manaia, and V. And wrapped around the bird cage is a watch, a gigantic watch, with a clock face that's exactly like yours, and it's also ticking down to the exact same rhythm. But of course, you only got enough time, Dewey, time to save one of you. It's already counting down. Make your choice.
One of them, or either me or them.
You or them, Cardu. You or them.
I go to the cage.
Okay, you run over to the cage, right? Looking up. And you see Ualani has like gripped like the bars, right? And she's like has pressed her face, like, you know, and she's like crying. And like Hana is like, what's going on, Mom? What's happening? And Hana's grown up since you've seen her, right? She was basically like a toddler when you left, like was just starting to learn to speak. But now she's like 5 or 6, right? She like knows, she's kind of cognizant. And Ualani just sort of like presses her face against the bars looking down at you, Dewey. And there's just so much like grief and pain and despair in her face, right? And she's just going, Cardu, you got us into this mess, Cardu, get us out.
As he's working as quickly as he can, he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't want to hurt you.
You didn't mean to hurt us? You didn't mean to hurt us? And Ualani like pounds against like the bars. Where were you when we needed you? Where was Hana's father when she needed a father?
Wasn't there.
And I want you, as you're like grabbing things from like the other side and like hastily like trying to like artifice your way out of this. I want you to pass the torch back to, well, I'm going to just say this. We're going to go back to Oka, because we left with Oka. But as we do, I think how we're going to transition is the Oka inside the cage also runs over to the bars and says something to Dewey. See, what do they say?
Who are you? Who are you?
A failure? Not who you want to be, not who you want me to be. Not someone you want to get to know.
Run, Dewey. Run. Run now. You have to get out. You have to run now.
I have been running. And he turns away from, okay.
Okay. Hiding your face. Are you gonna mark a box? Or do you feel like you still got it?
Are the boxes how much the carnival itself is getting to me, or like just how he's doing?
Just how you're doing.
Oh, he's at a 3.
Okay.
In that case, let me mark one more.
Oh my god, Mania's at a 4.
Yeah.
Okay. What's V at, out of curiosity?
2.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, and on like the illusion of Oka, right? Your projection of Oka in this cage, like pounding against the bars, we go back to Oka. The sword is burning against you, tugging you in a particular direction as you walk.
I think Oka even like is like getting fed up with it like burning against their back. So still with their like their culling edge out, they like kind of like tear open the like fabric sheath that they had made and just fucking like all the way out, baby. And they start like hacking and slashing through the vines to like just make it faster because they can't even fucking deal with a fern touching them right now.
Dream Hunter is heavy as lead in your hands. And you remember, like, I mean, you know how the sword works. If it doesn't like you, it's going to be heavy as hell, right? But if you're chosen, then it's as light as a feather in your hand, right? And it will work with you. But it's so heavy, like, but you're doing it, like, out of, like, anger, right? Like, even though your arms burn, you're like, hacking and slashing at the vines. And then the edge of Dream Hunter, ding, connects against something hard, right? And shatters a mirror. That's been propped up, like, against that's just been freestanding, I think, in the forest. And he didn't notice it because it was perfectly reflecting, like, the leaves and trees around it. And the mirror just shatters into 1,000 pieces as Dream Hunter just cleaves right through it. What do you do?
Thank you for that. Another fucking 7 years of bad luck. Like, I didn't already have enough. And a little bit more carefully now, Oka, like, steps around the glass and continues forward.
As you continue going, you see movement on your peripheral vision. What do?
Like flinch and parry immediately.
And you see yourself flinching and parrying. And then you realize it's another fucking mirror that's maybe like several feet away from you, you know, but like a longer one this time with like several panes like together, like leaned against a tree. And you see yourself like haggard, sweaty, wielding Dream Hunter, alone and wretched, bleeding from your nose.
Oka looks at themselves for a long minute. Just goes, "You poor sucker." Kind of like brings their gaze like back towards the ground, and like keeps walking.
You're staring at the ground as you walk?
As much as possible.
Okay. As you do, I need you to make a strength save.
14.
14. You manage to stand your ground, but you do stumble backward as you walk into a mirror. Bonk! And you stumble backward, right? And you see yourself, you look up, you see yourself also looking up, wielding Dream Hunter.
What is it? The image of Oka like holding Dream Hunter. Does that? I mean, I think that is like startling in a really bizarre way to Oka, and they like again flinch, and they like again like immediately like look away, like they can't even look themselves in the eyes, and they like try to go around it, and they're like, "I fucking told Xiaohu there'd be doors in here, fucking mirrors," and they like start to like like they startle every time they see themselves, and immediately look away as fast as they can.
Okay. As you avert your gaze from yourself, you're just like, I don't want to look at this. Like, I just want to fucking make my way through. You like have a few false starts, like you bump into a few more mirrors, right? You know, as they get more and more numerous, right? There seem to be more mirrors than there are trees after a certain point. Like you've somehow wandered into a mirror maze in the middle of the woods. But as you continue to walk and try to like find your way, muttering to yourself, two things change. One, the greenery that sort of like, that was ubiquitous and all-encompassing and awe-consuming begins to peel away. There just seems to be less greenery and just blackness from where it's peeling away from, right? Three changes, let's say. The second change is that it gets darker, right? You no longer can like hear the chirping of birds and the whirring of insects, or like sense this like dying light filtering through the canopy. And you're not sure exactly how it happened, but the more you walk, the more mirrors you bumped into, right? The more you realize that there's a ceiling now. It's not just a canopy. It's not just open air. There's a ceiling. The forest is dropping away from you, and now you're inside just a dark room with mirrors. The third change you notice as you're winding your way through this maze is the reflection. You're trying not to look at it, but every time you accidentally catch a glance of yourself, there is one less scar on your face. It was really subtle at first, I don't know if you noticed, but maybe it really strikes you when you glance at yourself and the two pink like lines that like bisect your mouth are gone. What do you do?
That startles Oka a lot. And they touch their mouth and they feel this like concave like space where their lips should be. And they like trace it up to still feel it on their face, and their reflection does the same, but it's just freckled skin. And Oka like looks, and I think for the first time they like approach the mirror and like almost like reach out a hand and like touch it.
You do. You reach out a hand and touch it. And yeah, when you were touching it, it feels like your actual body still has it, but the reflection doesn't. You reach out and touch it, you touch like cool, like cold mirror glass, right? As you stare at your reflection. And you can sort of see like to your left, like the same thing is mirrored, because there's a mirror boxing you into the left as well, right? But something about that reflection seems even more different than the one you're looking at. Do you turn to observe?
I do.
You turn to observe, and that reflection has long hair. Just sort of cascading down your shoulders, right? Like the hair that you cut off when you left.
Does that reflection look younger?
No. It looks to be your age, like what you could have been if you hadn't left. You look at your reflection looks back. What do you do?
I'm gonna mark a box because fuck me. And with, I think, Dream Hunter still like burning, like an Oka's like temper just like ignited, from the like heavy stone of the god, all of the shit that like is holding on to them, like carrying them, making them heavy. This sword, numerous among them, they take the sword and they like just like shatter that mirror.
The one with the long hair or the one that you were touching?
The one with the long hair. And I think they like take a few steps to like swing at it,
As you take a few steps forward and you let out like a roar, right? And you swing the sword at it. You see the reflection reach for the scabbard, right? Like just like you did, and like pull out, but it doesn't pull out Dream Hunter at all. It's like it's miming you. The reflection doesn't have Dream Hunter. And as you swing it down, at the very last moment, the reflection moves in a way that you didn't. It reaches out its left hand and grabs Dream Hunter by the blade. Its hand comes out of the surface of the mirror and catches it perfectly between their thumb and their index finger and stops you like you're nothing. And you feel Dream Hunter say into your head, "Ah, the worthy one." And the hilt slips out of your hand, and your reflection steps out of the mirror and grabs Dream Hunter. And as they do, the leather armor that they had reflected that they were wearing, like, ripples away to reveal, like, a traditional, like, Sulongan, like, robe, right? That they're wearing, a dueling robe, one that you wear when you duel an enemy to the death. They hold Dream Hunter, right? And then like they do, like they step 1 foot out of the mirror and they do a flourish with Dream Hunter. And you see like Dream Hunter's like there's like an after image when they move Dream Hunter, right? And the blade, the runes, all 8 of them, ding, 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 light up the length of the blade. As this reflection of you, what you could have been had you stayed, activates Dream Hunter's 8 minor boons and its major boon. And Oka, I need you to roll initiative.
Fuck!
And maybe on that, we will end this long-ass session there. Thank you all so much for taking that wild ride with us. We will be back with more Carnival ridiculousness next week. I have been Connie, your GM and executive producer. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me on Twitter and Itch and Patreon at by Connie Chong right up here. Yeah, I will pass long introductions to Devin.
Choose gum with extreme fear. Hello, my name is Devin. I use they, them pronouns. I'm the artistic director of Shout, Minnesota's Trans and Diverse Voices in All Trans POC-led. Hi, how's it going? Twin Cities-based choir. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Shout Minnesota. Also join the Discord. Erica.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erica. I played someone named V.
Really?
And you can find me at Erica New Girl on any social media platform I am. Come hang out with me sometime here on Twitch. I promise it'll probably be something I regret, just like today. And with that, I will pass it to Max.
Hi, I'm Max. I go with they them pronouns. I play Dewey Failure Quirk. I make pride flag masks, so come check out my Etsy, called Stitchmonger, and pay me to make you a mask and also for the emotional labor I did today. And I'll pass it to Z.
Hi, my name is C. I use they them pronouns. I played Oka, who is the actual Shadow Mario / Shadow Link. It's not the one in the mirror. Oka's the anyway. Okay, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm a dancer, digital artist, tabletop streamer. I am currently sweatier than I was when I finished my actual dance performance earlier this afternoon. You can find me on Twitch at pi_sharp. I am also hosting a Pride Month art giveaway on my Twitter, so you can go to pi_sharp_art at twitter.com or whatever it is. Go find me there and retweet my pinned post for a chance to win a full color Pride Month bust of your characters, 1 to 3 characters, because we love our ace characters and we also love our poly couples, as well as a your character here pride flag. And I hit 500 followers by the end of today, because today is the last day you can enter into this thing. I will add a second your character here pride flag. So odds are ever in your favor, my friends. I am not as sadistic as Connie is. So with that, I'll just pass it along to the raid it looks like we're doing here now.
Hey, so just as a reminder, we will be streaming next week for episode 6 of this arc. That's going to be Saturday, June 19th at 3 p.m. U.S. Central Time, as usual. We were delayed this stream, but it'll be next week. We also have our anniversary weekend jam-packed with fun stuff. The last weekend of June, the Friday the 25th, Saturday the 26th, Sunday the 27th, and Monday the 28th. Amazing events all 4 days. We're going to do a one-shot on Gen Con TV. We're going to do episode 8 of our main campaign on Saturday. We're going to release our Patreon on Sunday, and we're going to release our podcast, very first episode of Transplanar RPG as a polished podcast. So listen, subscribe, rate, review, etc. Stay tuned for that. Follow us on Twitter at Transplanar RPG, and now we're going to raid Compass Rose Productions. They're queer. They're awesome. They're playing Dungeons & Dragons right now, so use the raid message in chat. We love you all so much. We will see you later next week. Peace.